Ace mong le asho shkamo fal esukomines be vitamin nasum. Karngin gubsifen na nice india apashali. O about to gumsom na yen tia kan motom infame inwelum e aknas yen komatakyan. Inaksafie akola. Arela emergency contact list lom aroy nash mo aknas ko onlo in suman. Nakarangin in Josh mit masin suman. Aroma kuno minako ye aknas yen kuam in nasnas aim safe. Tanak manas matana in suman. Message saying e masin manyetlu Micronesian Research Center at Choice Broadcasting.
Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso reacting to a growing number of coronavirus cases across the country.
What you take a look at the numbers across the country, there are some spikes. It's a concern, but not a crisis. We're not turning back. We need to continue getting people back to work. We need to get our schools open, our kids back to school, protect the most vulnerable.
At least 17 states are rolling back or postponing coronavirus mitigation efforts because of a dramatic rise in the number of new cases. Texas ordering bars to close and limiting the number of diners and restaurants. California has ordered bars closed in several counties, and a number of Florida beaches will be closing ahead of the 4th of July holiday weekend. The Supreme Court today refusing to block the execution of 4 federal prison inmates who are scheduled to be put to death in July and August. The inmates convicted of killing children wanted their executions halted over concerns about the drugs used in lethal injection. The last federal execution was carried out in 2003. After more than a century and a quarter, Mississippi's flag is undergoing a major change.
Since 1894, Mississippi's state flag used a Confederate icon as its canton. Now both houses of the state legislature vote bipartisanly to change the flag, and Mississippi Republican Governor Tate Reeves says he will sign it. There were demonstrators outside the state capitol in Jackson as the lawmakers voted this weekend, waving the flag, insisting the Confederate image stood for heritage. It's the last flag in the Union to feature it. Mississippi voters will be able to pick a design for a new flag this November. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The maker of a drug shown to shorten recovery time for severely ill coronavirus patients says it will charge just over $3,100 for patients with private health insurance. In a recent study, treatment with the drug remdesivir shortened recovery time by a third. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
When you can do what you need to do from wherever you are, why wouldn't you? The Going Online Together partners encourage you to explore all the ways you can safely, securely, and conveniently go digital, pay bills, check account balances, register for services, and much more. And don't worry, when you practice safe online activity, you can trust that your personal information is secure. Be part of the new norm, make life easier, and join in the movement of going online together.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
FHP Health Center now open longer, later hours for you. Go to the island's best one-stop clinic for all your medical, dental, and vision needs during this COVID-19 pandemic. FHP Health Center operates Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. FHP's Cancer Center, Adult Medicine, Pediatrics, Dental, and Vision departments are open for extended hours and available for appointments. FHP Home Health Department is open to continue care for patients at their homes. For appointments, call 646-5825 and press 2. FHP, our island, your clinic.
Half a day and good morning. It's 6:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. The island was expected to reopen its tourism industry on July 1st. However, a recent jump in COVID-19 cases led the governor to push back that date. In fact, the governor has signed yet another executive order extending the public health emergency until the 30th of July. It was originally set to expire on Monday. The Joint Information Center reported yesterday 7 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. Officials say one of the 7 reported household contact with another case who was identified through contact tracing last week. The new cases increased the island's total COVID-19 cases to 255, with 71 active cases. It should also be noted that 42 of the total cases are military service members who are being housed at the Reef Hotel. Meanwhile, the Guam Visitors Bureau is still holding out hope that the island will be able to reopen its tourist industry by mid-July, even with the emergency extension. Governor Carl Gutierrez, who heads GVB, says, of course, it's subject to the direction of the governor and her medical advisory board. Dr. Felix Cabrera says that timeline is not impossible. Gutierrez said no inbound flights were delayed due to the announcement of the extension, as many of the airlines have committed to reopening routes in July or August. He adds, just because we say tourism opens on a certain day doesn't mean visitors will flock to Guam on that day. He says it'll take time to build up interest. In the meantime, GVB has already been working hard to inform source markets of the preparations being made to welcome our visitors back to the island. He says he thinks that the biggest concern is quarantine and testing availability. Governor Leon Guerrero, despite her reservations on the lack of equity for single parents, allowed Bill 367 to lapse into law. The Helps for Family measure promises $500 for each eligible member within a family. Additionally, legislation on safe housing for victims and additional protections for victims of sexual assault are among the bills now enacted into law. The bills authorize the governor to transfer up to $10 million for the program, including the CARES Act money. The governor, in her letter to the legislature, says in the next few days she'll work with the author to dispense payments to individuals left behind by federal law. Families are to apply for that program at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, which has up to 30 days to establish the rules for the program. The governor did also sign into law Bill 323, which allows for limited exemptions to small businesses under the Dave Santos Small Business Enhancement Act to mitigate financial impacts from COVID-19. She also signed Guam Safe Housing Act of 2020, which provides protections for tenants who are victims of abuse, and Bill 162, which terminates the parent-child relationship of an individual who conceived the child by committing sexual assault against another. And the Guam Department of Education will give details on how they plan to carry out the next school year. They'll do that tomorrow in a press conference. Education officials have been meeting with parents, teachers, and staff to discuss options for the new school year. Those options will be discussed with the Guam Department of Education's board, which is meeting today. That board is expected to consider the plan that provides options for parents and students to include home learning online, homeschooling for families without internet, and classroom learning with alternating schedules. In addition to the board's approval of the plan, DOE officials need the approval of the Department of Public Health and Social Services, as well as the authority of the governor to reopen schools. They are still shooting to have schools open by August 11th. More news after this.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro in Hagåtña and Tumon are now open for takeout and free delivery services in selected locations. For more information, call 479-2652 or 3 or 969-2652. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with the true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine at the comforts of your own home. They take your favorite local dishes and serve them with extra flair you will only find at Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
A bill promising to add some transparency with government operations during a state of public health emergency received public testimony yesterday. The bill by Senator Jim Moylan mandates the governor of public health to report on actions taken during an emergency, such as seizing a medical facility or supplies from private entities. The Emergency Powers Act presently doesn't have any transparency language in place, and this, Moylan says, is why the bill is important. A major controversy recently during the COVID-19 pandemic on Guam was a procurement of hotels used to host travelers coming into the island for quarantine. Moylan says he looked forward to advancing his bill in the next session. An honest mistake? Well, that's what Senator Luis Muñoz calls it after filing an unemployment claim with the Department of Labor, later withdrawing the claim after learning that she'd be denied. Muñoz says $55,000 salary as a senator. She learned that salary would make her ineligible to get financial aid, even after losing all of her income as a musician and a gym instructor during the COVID-19 shutdown. She said it's a genuine mistake when asked by the Guam Daily Post, and said that she filed her unemployment benefit application because she lost the income that she was receiving through her self-employment service business license. Several days later, she learned she would also was supposed to declare her own other sources of income, and as a senator of the 35th Guam legislature, the Guam Department of Labor Director Dave De La Sola had just issued reminders on common mistakes made when applying for the pandemic unemployment assistance, warning people of potential fraud, also reminding filers that they need to include all income received for each week a person files a claim. As of Monday, 28,000 displaced workers have filed unemployment claims. And a dozen potential candidates rushed to file their papers on Monday, but today's deadline is expected to see even more last-minute filers, who include former delegate Robert Underwood. Underwood says that he will file his candidacy for congressional delegate at 10 this morning. He's challenging incumbent delegate Mike Nicholas in the Democrat primaries. He served as Guam's congressional delegate from 1993 to 2003 and served as the University of Guam's president from 2008 to 2018. On the Republican side, only Senator Will Castro has filed so far for the congressional seat. Neither the Democrats nor the Republicans have a complete slate of 15 members for the senatorial slate. As of yesterday, 86 filed for their candidacy papers for the general or primary election, which is slated for August 29th. And those are your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with your weather.
All right. Well, I wanted to put something up on the Facebook before I did not on the Facebook Live, but on the live things that we got here. I wanted to stick this up on. This is Adolfo Palacios' story here this morning. And do you see it? It's Uncle Robert, and it's a check mark. Does that mean he's in? Is that did he borrow the check mark from the inn people here? We'll have to ask at some point. All right. At any rate, here it is. The weather: partly cloudy skies and isolated showers in today's forecast. Possibility that there's going to be thunderstorms. And I will remark again for about the 1100th time that they keep saying thunderstorms, and it keeps being the hottest day of the year. Have you noticed that? There's nothing.
Sweltering.
No, it just unrelenting is the word that I heard somebody use yesterday. The heat is unrelenting. So factor that into the forecast here. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs today should be about 89 degrees. For tonight, we can expect partly cloudy skies, more isolated showers and thunderstorms. Winds east again to 15 miles an hour, and overnight lows should be about 80 degrees. Heat index today is 94, which means that the thermometer in your car is going to say 98. It's just the numbers are all over the place. Unrelenting, unceasing heat is in the forecast today. Watch out for it. Sunrise this morning was at 5:57. Before the sun came up, anybody go outside and look up in the sky?
Yeah,
about 4:35. As I was getting into the car, I looked up to the sky because I was noting a couple of stars had moved from where they were last night, and I thought that was interesting. And then I saw a light that actually moved across the sky. I think it was the International Space Station.
Probably.
Yeah, it was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:51. Hashtag tell the others. That's news and weather together. This is The Point.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumon, or call 646-1463.
As we stand up to coronavirus by standing back with social distancing, Bank Pacific reminds you that you can come to the bank without going to the bank. Use many of our other delivery platforms like online banking at bankpacific.com, accessing cash at our ATMs, shopping with our debit cards. For businesses, we have secure cash and check drop windows, and we are employing a new smarter mobile app with remote deposit capture in the next few weeks. We're all in this together, and together we will win. Bank Pacific. Brothers but branches, we place roots. Member FDIC.
Thanks, Phil. Get your spaghetti combo meals featuring spaghetti with meat sauce, fries, and a drink for just $5. You get the biggie value with double the spaghetti, large fries, and a 42-ounce drink for $8. Mana tested the theory yesterday.
I didn't. I told you it would work.
There's a photograph. There's photograph.
I had to prove it to you.
I was gonna put the photograph up on the screen, but I got the picture with Uncle Robert on it, and somebody said direct message. You said, do me a favor, Ray, when you're done looking at your Uncle Robert's picture, there's a whole bunch of girls in your feed. Could we look at their pictures as well and see what Meka and Marcetta and Cassie are showing off this morning on their stories? if things get boring around here, maybe we will take a look. Hey, let's see what the girls have going on in their stories today. But anyway, so here's the deal. Hearty meat sauce spaghetti combos at Wendy's. And if you like, you can change out the fries and get a salad. Now, that's better. The Ray Gibson Show is also brought to you by APL, American President Lines, global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
It's an honest mistake, I tell you. It's just an honest mistake. All right, so I just want to... Can I rename the show? I can't rename the show once it's already started. That's the problem. I want to rename the show. Today, it was what I call it, Tuesday Autonomous Zone, because there was a couple of stories in the deal about the autonomous zone, and I thought, okay, maybe that'd be like a clever thing to hang on the program here this morning. But can Joe, write it down tomorrow. Tomorrow. It'll be an honest mistake. We ought to be able to use that for everything. Anything goes wrong here this morning.
What was an honest mistake that you honestly didn't?
I forgot. I didn't. Yeah. So that was it was an honest mistake. I probably won't happen again.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. How dare I? 6:18 in the morning. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. Got a lot to get to here this morning, but we'll start off with the important introductions. Baby sister Montesilva Tyron's going to take care of news and etc. from the Guam Daily Post and egg me on in particular, but Joe as well. We're of the opinion, Joe, you need to leave your microphone on a little bit more.
Oh, just
because of the funny noises that you make in there. There was, because he takes a great deal of pride in producing the show. So when I'm done and I go the point, and then he hits the drum hit on the theme. It's all a climactic moment. Climactic moment. And he makes a noise like it's a climactic moment in there as well. That's spooky. She stayed with you even after she heard that once or twice. That's amazing. That's amazing. Anyway, 6:19 in the morning. Welcome to the program, as I say. Excuse the mess. Lots and lots to get to here this morning, and I got a table of contents. I got a whole bunch of stuff from yesterday that I didn't use, and a bunch of stuff that is creeping into the feed now that I promise I will use. Got to do a shout. My friend Arlene Collins is online. So is Renee Logie, and a whole bunch of other people. But they didn't come in number one. They're just among our hotter viewers, and I wanted to make sure that they knew that I knew that they were watching. These are the top 10.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Honest mistake.
And they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
20 after 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, to top 10. Dave Torrey came in number one again. Right?
Pew Pew.
Pew Pew at number one. Good job. James Howard comes in number two. Big Al Bautista is there. Ismail, who's trying out his written Chamorro on the Facebook Live here this morning. Very good. Great job there, buddy. John Ray Titano is online. Vince Mesa is there, one of our favorite musicians of all time. Where are you playing, buddy? And so when you were playing and you're not doing the gig anymore, okay, if you still have a full-time job, another gig, then technically you're not unemployed. I'll bet Vince knows that, right? Vince? Yeah. I got Anne-Marie Trousseau is there. J.P. St. Nicholas is online. Janice Wong. And Yoich Ringil. And Yoich, I'm concerned about you, my friend. I'm concerned about you. Apparently you're on Palau time. Because he was telling everybody what a great Wednesday it is.
Nice.
Happy Wednesday morning to everybody.
Like it.
It's a short enough week. But It was probably an honest mistake.
Yeah.
Probably just an honest mistake there. All right, who else I get to play around with? James Ray Sablon's online. James Howard, first and foremost, I want to thank the man upstairs for the win. It's been 1 week already, and we're about ready to follow Ismail into the retire zone. Then we got a second win. I don't know what you're talking about. You're only second place today, Brett. Ken Polino's online. Hey, there's Jay Rojas.
Happy
birthday, Jay.
Leanne Michelle Mendiola is online this morning. It says, here's the thing from Real Joe Cruz, says, James Howard, slow down there with the thank yous. Results will be tabulated, and Judge Bob will make the final ruling. Who else is playing around? What's that, Janice? That's what my husband says about me still listening to the talk show and this race to hop on to see you guys. It's okay. You know, husbands come and go. You just... The important thing is that we're your family, sweetheart. We are your tribe, Janice. There's former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez online here this morning.
Bring back the sunshine.
Bring back the sunshine.
You are my sunshine.
Can you just take over? Can you just say, look, you just go travel. Just have some fun. Get out there. Live a little bit. I'll watch the store for you. Annette Anda Vasquez is there. Little sister Mona Silva. There's Richard Leon online, and Linda Gabriel, Bob and Connie Bartonico are on. And Claudio Cosaka Ocampo is there. I need sunshine. I'm doing laundry. Tony and Annette and Pinko Ada. I heard Tony Ada's running. Did you hear that?
Viva Tony Ada.
And then there's did I say Joy and Pinko already? Sometimes the names pop up twice. Hey, Cousin Troy's online.
Morning, Chalu.
Good morning, my most favoriteest, most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world.
So Cousin Troy actually showed up at Jimmy's Jimmy's thing yesterday,
Yes,
right?
he did.
The public.
But I didn't catch if he should. There was any birds.
Super
flying.
excited that wow, Jimmy actually got a public hearing on one of his bills.
Yeah,
they
let's
let
see
one
if it
onto
goes
the
any
floor.
further.
Well, it's about transparency in these COVID-19 times. So it's certainly germane, but there might be a couple of other things that pop up and go for a ride with that. Finest voice that's ever been on Guam radio. Dave Angel is online and listening to the broadcast right now. Dave, think about you all the time. Are you still riding your bike for charity and worthy causes and things like that? Right-click on Dave's name and friend him. You've heard him do commercials for Guam for, I don't know, the last 40 years or something like that. And he doesn't live here anymore, but his voice still plays on the radio from time to time. And he's a terrific guy. From time to time, he'll also get on his bike and ride for charities. And if the more friends that he has from here, the more money he'll be able to raise. So make friends with him, and you'll find out that you've got a whole lot in common there. James, what's that? Ray, for real, let's call the senator, man, and ask, really. Okay, Lady D is online. Pam Duvall says, Louise could write a song. Don't dip twice, it's not nice. Wow. This is a tough one. Ken Brown says, I listen to Guam radio whenever I can. Well, I appreciate you listening to this Guam radio on the thing. Hope you like the additions that we do on television. I love this thing. There's Sherry Iriarty, and Pam Duvall says, Real Joe giggles like a girl. It's one of the things that we like about him. Come on.
Thank you.
Evergreen, South Guam. And somebody sent me a picture over the weekend. I was asking a friend what she did over the weekend, and she sent me a picture of the little bungalow that they have that's out there in the ocean. You know, it's like a swing thing over there.
Yeah,
and there's this bungalow that they've got. It sticks out of the water. It just looks absolutely terrific. When are we going there? When are we going? It's a 4th of July weekend. We got 3 days off. At least one of those days ought to be spent, doing something that you'll need to recover from. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll go ride our bikes all the way down there. Gary Shawnols is there. Gerard Estoy is online. Simon Sanchez from the Consolidated Commission on Utilities is there. And okay, a bunch of names, bunch of people. Huge crowd already lined up this morning. There's a bunch of names that I missed going from the top 10 down to everybody else. But if I missed you, just type something in there. Like, it's I like the way my daughter smells. Just type that in there. I don't know, just some random thoughts pop into my head sometimes, and I can't get them out. Jack Bucas.
What were we saying this morning, Joe?
Tanya,
80% what?
Tanya Toby is online here this morning. All right, so 6:26 in the morning. Is there stuff on the table of contents? Absolutely there is. Today is the 30th of June, last day of June, and somebody should have put this thing together. It probably should have been me, but somebody should have put the deal together and make today like New Year's Eve. because we're ramping now into about the halfway mark on the year, right? It'll be July 1 tomorrow, and I would like to put a clear line of demarcation between the first part of 2020 and the next part of 2020, and hope and pray and fingers crossed that all of the worst crap that was going to happen in 2020 already happened. We've dealt it. You got the racial stuff going on in the States, and the coronavirus, and murder hornets, and pit bulls with AIDS and things like that. All of that stuff, it's behind us now, and we ought to be able to look forward to the rest of the year.
It's an honest mistake.
That's what I'm thinking. Actually, page 1 of the Guam Daily Post, it says genuine mistake. Right. But I think there's a story. I think there's a story later on in the thing about Evan where he says it's an honest mistake. But anyway, the mistakes being made clearly all over them. Try not to make any today. Try to be like me. Never make a mistake. Never commit an error at one way or the other. So what was I talking about? I was talking about this needs to be, as I said, the DMZ of 2020, and we will all project positive energy. Remember that feeling we had on January 1st? Let's try it again. Let's see if we can recapture that moment and go, okay, 2020 is going to be my year. This is it. Yeah. Remember that feeling like you're going back to school? To be. 7th grade. I changed schools in the 7th grade. I was at Cathedral until 6th grade. In the 7th grade, I went to St. Anthony School, and I only knew like 3 people in the school, but I felt it was vital. It was vital, and my classmates will remember this. It was vital that I did the arrow through the head gag, the Steve Martin arrow through the head gag, on the first day of school in a brand new school.
Straight to the principal's office.
There you go.
Oh, and the principal was our auntie, by the way, Sister Mary Mark. And she even called me in when I was in the 8th grade.
She was buff.
Or in the 6th grade, she said, I will make an example of you.
Yep.
She had forearms.
Man.
Oops.
6:28 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Yeah, it's going to be that kind of morning. Janice Wong says, halfway to Christmas. Jay Roa says, let's do it. Let's get drunk tonight. Careful, Jay. Careful, Jay. There's drinking, and then there's drinking. Which one do you want to do? Because there's school tomorrow, bro. There's school tomorrow. I've got some interesting news about some stuff that's going on in Honolulu. We're not the only ones with mistakes on our PUAs, and state releases updated unemployment insurance information from their Department of Labor there. The Department of Labor Industrial Relations today announced updated unemployment insurance claims, including paying. Check out this number. It's like $1 billion. 1-727-662-401. That's how much money they've been able to push out since the onset of COVID, since back in March. 93% of the valid unemployment insurance claims that have come in since the beginning of the pandemic have been processed and paid out by DLIR. We still have 11,405 clean claims ready for payments of benefits by filing weekly claim certifications, and you can do that online. Now, they have similar issues that we've got here. Persons working full-time and therefore ineligible for benefits, but filing for the loss of part-time work. It's the very first thing they cite as an issue with their unemployment in Hawaii. Incorrect deposit information supplied by claimants. Great, you got a bank account, and you just gave them the wrong number, and the money is going to the wrong place. No weekly certifications filed by claimants. If you want to keep getting the money, you got to keep going in there and every week tell them the story. Claim backdate issues, separation from work that requires investigation, claimants that have filed multiple claims, and failure to create a username and password in the claimant online portal. You would think that would be the first thing, right? What is give me an email address, give me a username, something 671 is the way it works for everybody, right? Yeah. And then some kind of a password, like PASSWORD. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that works. Anyway, so and change the E's into 3's because nobody does that. Nobody. All over Guam, people are changing their passwords. Crap, he got mine. Ray Gibson just said my password on the radio. What's the matter with that guy? Doesn't he believe in cybersecurity? 6:31 in the morning. So that, in my mind, is interesting. Some of the issues that they've got out there, but more so, one of the other big issues that I think we got to get a handle on here. You heard me bite through the rebar yesterday when we were talking about how we're extending the public health emergency again. For another 30 days or so, because somebody won't wear a mask, or I don't know, something. But anyway, so they've decided that they're going to take advantage of a little bit of a bump in the numbers on the COVID-19 and extend this thing out for another 30 days. In the meantime, we've also sent the word back out, and my aviation news sites that I follow, have gotten the word, and they're beginning to spread it around among their viewers and their website followers that says, yeah, Guam has moved the reopen date. TFN, and we'll figure out when that's going to be. The issue among the issues, and somebody's going to say, Ray, it's not about money, it's about safety. No, it's about money. There's 30,000 people out of work right now, and they could use hopes and prayers that they've got a job to go back to one of these days. We need to start making those plans for it one way or the other. State to launch COVID-19 pre-travel testing program for out-of-state travelers on August the 1st. And the bottom line on this is the state of Hawaii is now putting together concrete plans and a concrete date on when they're going to anticipate travelers coming into the state of Hawaii. To the degree that we are competitors in the tourism game and the hospitality game, I think it's important that we take a look at how they're doing it, and whatever we do, make it much easier for our visitors to come to Guam and enjoy whatever the shopping is going to be, whatever the dining is going to be, and then hanging out on the beach with their bikinis and frisbees. 6:33 in the morning. Plenty of other stuff on the table of contents that we can get around to, and my favorite video. I've got two favorite videos. There's one where you got one of these BLM protesters, and he's charging the police, and he's yelling at the police, and they fire a spray mace in his face and stops him dead in his tracks. And then he gets tackled by the dreads. I love that one. And then there's that couple in St. Louis. Did you see that with the guns?
With the AR-15 and the pistol.
Yeah, I love that.
Bonnie and Clyde.
She's serious. Did you see where trigger finger?
Yeah,
right,
the booger picker was right there.
The booger picker was right there on the bang button.
Yeah.
About ready. She was ready to dispense some freedom metal, right? 6:33. I'll play some of that for you in a couple of minutes. Sorry, 6:34. Time for our first look at headlines now with news from the Guam Daily Post. It's Montecillo Tyron.
The island was expected to reopen its tourism industry on July 1st, but the governor says because of a spike in COVID-19 cases, she decided to push that date back. In fact, the governor signed another executive order extending the public health emergency until July 30th. Meanwhile, the Joint Information Center reported yesterday 7 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. Officials say one of the 7 reported household contact with another person who was identified last week through contact tracing and also had COVID-19. The new cases increased the island's total number to 255. 71 of those cases are active. The Department of Education will give their details on how they plan to open up schools next school year. They'll do that in a press conference tomorrow. Education officials have been meeting with parents, teachers, and students and staff to discuss options for the new school year. The options will be discussed with the board today. And Senator Luis Muñoz says it was a genuine mistake after filing an unemployment claim with the Department of Labor. She left out her $55,000 salary as a senator when filing and later learned that she would be ineligible because of that salary, and she won't get financial aid even after she lost her income as a musician and a gym instructor due to COVID-19. She has since withdrawn her application. Meanwhile, the Department of Labor continues to warn filers of potential fraud and reminds people to put all sources of income when filing for unemployment aid. And those are your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com.
It's 6:35 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. There's an iConnect nearby you. In fact, there's one nearby us. You got questions about your plans. You want to upgrade your plans, change the plans, add to your plan. You can do that. Best to make a phone call before you come. 888-8888.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his smile team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his smile team.
They make smiles happen.
What do you want me to do? These guys, is the Subway, Eat Fresh?
Yes, sir.
Can do, not a problem. There's a Subway nearby. You got like 14 or 50 of them here on Guam. And the cool thing is, you can call them up, you go online, and you make your order, and they will have somebody bring it to you. There is an army of good-to-go people out there with all kinds of sanitized and cool little bags that keep things cool or keep things hot. They'll be happy to bring you your Subway, delicious, to your doorstep.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Checking the traffic gizmo at 637, wondering where the hot spots are going to be, the warm zones here. Is there going to be any free food? I don't think there is any free food
No, I think they said
lineups
first
today.
week of July
Okay.
is the next distribution.
All right. Otherwise, then we've got a little bit of traffic over, like it's going to get some free food. A little bit of traffic up in Dededo, making your way close to, what is that, Payless. And then we got a little bit more traffic at the, the mobile intersection up there, the Fatima Mobile. Getting down into the central parts of the island. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot to slow you down. A little bit of traffic on Route 8 as folks are trying to get into the Teedzin area. Then you make your way into the downtown Agutya area. Nothing major through there. Clean, smooth run-ins, as they say. Peace be the journey all the way down to Big Navy in Sumai. Looking real good. Here, let me put it on the screen so that you can see what I'm looking at as well. Traffic Gizmo is reporting nothing but clear roadways for you. So enjoy it. This could be the day. Open it up. Open it up. Maybe you've got something that's got some real muscle under the hood. Why don't you give it a shot? It's not like there's any cops out there or anything. I'm just messing around. But really, try it. 638. Be right back.
Hafadade, this is Carl from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future. Whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community, our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
This can't be real. Maybe it's an honest mistake. According to a website, Your Tango, it says if you place this under your tongue before bed, you won't wake up tired. What do you think it is?
Crystal methamphetamine.
That's not one of the choices. Here's your choices.
Okay.
I got choices. Stick this under your tongue, and you won't wake up tired. Your choices are a lemon wedge, a raw almond, Himalayan sea salt, or peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Incorrect. Mana?
Sea salt. Anything else you would choke on?
It's the sea salt. It says if you put Himalayan sea salt under your tongue when you go to sleep at night, you won't wake up tired.
Wide awake and swollen.
Yeah. And some people, but could be a bad reaction. And how we can explain it? Your lips are all puffy. You look like Macaulay Culkin. What'd you do? You did that Himalayan sea salt thing that Ray was talking about on the radio. Never, when Ray says stuff like that, just let it go. You don't have to try everything he says, do you?
We'll be retaining a little bit of water, but it'll be all right.
All right. So I was playing around and looking at the Twitter universe and run across this image here. And I don't think the audio is clean. It's hard to tell. But I fell in love with the thing, and I've watched it over and over and over again because this is why people talk about the Second Amendment and one of the reasons why it exists. This is one of the reasons why the Second Amendment exists, and the Castle Doctrine and stand your ground and all of this stuff. So they're in St. Louis, Missouri. There are protesters that were on their way to the mayor's mansion, I guess, is part of the story I'm hearing. And they happen upon these people. They spent 30 years working on this house, and they weren't about to let any of these thugs or looters take one step closer than they needed to. So Paul comes out with the AR. Not crazy about the way he's holding it. I think there's he's like waving, he's holding it by the barrel end. And then Ma Kettle is, I don't know what kind of gun she's got. Dave is going to, zoom in and identify this. Or Rico Blankenford, one of those guys are going to zoom in and see what's going on. But you see the posture. You see and not one of those looters got any closer to the house because these guys were armed and defending themselves. This is the America. Thank God we live on Guam. Thank God you and I live here for the most part and don't have to put up with this kind of nonsense. Thugs. Now you're going, well, they're just walking on the street. No, they're actually on the guy's property. They've broken down a gate to get onto the guy's property, and we're I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's a threat. You broke something to get here, and you are a threat, and I'm not going to let you come in, harm me, the property, any of that stuff. So the guy took off. Now you might be going, wow, let's hear it for conservative America. Guy's a Democrat. The family has voted Democrat. They have supported Democrat all of their lives, and it's amazing because conservative Twitter loves them, and liberal Twitter thinks they're the devil. Fact of the matter is, these guys are Democrats. Here's the deal, guys: votes have consequences. Now we're finding that out dramatically here on Guam. Votes have consequences, and this is what happens when we start talking about defunding police departments and taking these thugs and looters and to the degree that they are peaceful. Washington Post is referring to them as peaceful protesters. They broke down the gate to get into the guy's property, but they're peaceful protesters. At any rate, so there's one thing about allowing people to protest, and then there's another one where we're coddling them and allowing them to throw this nationwide tantrum. But so that's the deal. For those of you that are wondering, yeah, gun sales are probably through the roof. All across the country. And my guess is gun sales are probably through the roof all over Guam as well. 6:43 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TA. Okay, a little bit more on the story I was telling you about, the urgency, as I'm trying to paint it, of the island reopening the doors to tourism. It's important. I don't know if you get a chance to get down to Tumon very often. When was the last time you actually went on like a walking tour in Tumon? When was the last time that you were there? Do you remember?
Fairly often.
Fairly often?
Almost every day.
Almost every.
At 4 o'clock.
Well, yeah, but you're running by there, but it's dark, and it's not like these places are open for business. So we were down there obviously on Saturday doing our walk around, and from where the aquarium is, almost all the way over, it's amazing the number of shops that are shut and not just closed. Not just you look inside, and there's, you can see where the cash register was and the mannequins and the things that held the clothes. There's no clothes on them anymore. The business is shut down. Yep. It's over for that shop. There's a restaurant down there. Unfortunately, they've got 2 locations, and so they've shut that one down and moved it to their to the GPO location. And you wonder what's the case for everybody else. Will these businesses be able to reopen, or what's it going to be like? Yeah, it passed by.
And even in the effort to revitalize Agania, you have the Agania Shopping Center. It's seeing a bunch of stores. The PDN reported yesterday, at least, it sounded like 4 or 5 of them, including the Shirley's restaurant there.
Yeah. Are they going to be able to come back up?
Well, they're closing. They gutted the place. It's gone.
There no more Shirley's?
No more Shirley's. If you open up the PDN, you'll take a look at the photo that they have. They gutted all of the dividers, and it looks like all of the little...
Wow.
Yeah, it's
But
gone.
that's been a Shirley's forever.
Yep.
And it was what was it? Sizzler before that.
Sizzler.
Huh. So what's going to happen to I mean, they got long-time employees. Is everybody going to go to the Tamuning shop? Is that what it is?
Perhaps so. Well, they have other locations. So, I mean, I can imagine that they'll just move.
It is spooky. Around. It is spooky. I mean, talking to Mike Israel yesterday about the pressure that is on some of these guys, and you're going, well, businesses. Maybe they had the resources to be able to hold their breath. How long can you hold your breath? How long could you tread water? You run out of, you got your cash reserves. Maybe that keeps you for a month or so, making deals with the bank and do all that stuff. Well, eventually the deals with the bank are going to get called in. Eventually they're going to say, I'm sorry, I cannot defer this anymore. We've got to come to some kind of a conclusion. And you start paying off all of your debts with the credit cards, and pretty soon all of that money runs out, and you have, you got no choice other than to mail the business license back to Daphne Shimazu. Anyway, I was talking about, as I said, the urgency. We've got to get things open again one way or the other, and as the man from the WHO says, we're just going to have to figure out how we're going to live with the virus. They're talking about opening up Hawaii to out-of-state travelers August the 1st. Trans-Pacific travelers to Hawaii will be able to bypass the 14-day quarantine starting on August 1 if they show proof that they were tested for COVID-19 with negative results. The governor, whose name I can never pronounce, I just go Dave, Governor Dave, made the announcement during a news conference. Quote, "We are working on an alternative to the 14-day mandatory quarantine that would allow a safe and healthy way for travelers to return to the islands. Today, I'm announcing that beginning..." Actually, it's Governor Rapplinger is the guy's name. Today, I'm announcing that beginning August 1st, we will implement a pre-travel testing program for travelers to Hawaii as an alternative to the 14-day mandatory quarantine. Starting August 1, travelers who've got a valid negative COVID-19 test prior to arriving will not be subject to the 14-day mandatory quarantine. It will remain in place for those who choose not to get a pre-travel test. They will, however, on top of that and everything else, they will continue with temperature checks and screenings. All of that is going to continue, and hopefully they get it right. Hopefully they get the thing right, because we had something similar as well, right? We had all these people, do you remember, that were flying home from college or whatever, coming home for funerals, and the word was that you needed to have one of those COVID-19 tests, and they had one, and they flew into the airport, and they said, "Oh, that's the wrong test. You didn't get the right COVID-19 test. So sorry, you still have to do your 14-day quarantine." So we got to make sure that we know what the nomenclature is going to be as they open their doors. Around here, they were talking about doing this without any pre-boarding tests and things like that. 888-8255-888-TALK. As I said, a lot of businesses had made the phone call to the bank saying, I need a couple of months. Can you let me breathe here? And many of the banks on Guam said absolutely, positively. Banker Phil Floors on the line from Bank Pacific. How you doing there, Phil?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone.
It's always nice to talk to you, and appreciate you grabbing the phone for us this early in the morning. I wanted to ask you about arrangements that have been made 3 months, 90 days ago with banks. At which point, in particular, your bank, and what are you hearing from the Bankers Association about extending those along with the extension of the public health emergency that the governor signed yesterday?
Yeah, good question. I can talk specifically about myself and our banking brethren, just kind of peripherally, but a lot of those 90 days are coming up, and so we were very, very generous and understanding and putting them out the first 90 days, and at this point, we're calling up our customers who had it. A lot of them have come back, started paying, but there are some who are going to need another 90 days, and they should be scared. Whether it be Bank Pacific or one of the other banks on Guam, contact your banker, your lender. Even if you don't know the person, just call and find out, and they'll work something out with you. Everybody realizes that there's still a ton of people who aren't working, and I kind of, like last time we talked, there was some pushback, and I said all the pushback from people like me, people like you who are calling for people to be able to work again. Mm-hmm. All that pushback comes, my guess is, from people who are already working and don't realize how bad it is not to have a paycheck. It's great that the unemployment assistance came out last week, and I guess there's some more coming out this week. Mm-hmm. That's terrific. We can see it in our deposits, and we can see in the bank in general, and talking to the banking brethren, we're all seeing what seems to be behavioral change. Of people saving that money. They're not taking the $7,000 and buying $6,000 worth of stuff. They're putting it away because they don't know when they're going to be coming back to work. Right. And really, really, really good. But if you're on that 90-day deal and it's coming up, the clock's ticking, contact your bank, and they will work with you. I can promise you that.
So you're not going to be calling any loans back or deferrals and forcing people back into pay mode.
No, you can't. If people aren't working, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, I was specifically thinking about business. What's the view for businesses that might be holding on to deferrals for 90 days, and now as I said, it's been extended for another 30 days. The public health emergency, but does lose extension of a public health emergency mean that the businesses will automatically get a deferral from their bankers?
Well, even businesses that have been permitted to reopen, they're struggling because people aren't out there spending because they don't have a job and have restrictions. Our bank, our companies that are open, and there's a lot of them, are working 100%. They're not at 50% occupancy, and so we can serve our customers. And nobody's getting sick. Knock on wood, that being said. Nobody's getting sick. And I really would wish that the government allow more people to go to work, and actually would allow government workers to go to work, so government agencies like DPW or EPA or Revenue Tax can actually serve the people properly. But that's going to happen sooner or later. But again, if you have a business and you're just like an individual, you have a business, you're struggling, that 90 days knocking on your door, or doesn't look like you can start making your regular payments, talk to your lender. We're not in the business of closing you down.
Yeah.
We're in the business of doing what we can to keep you open.
Maybe a conversation about extending the terms of the loan out for another 2 or 3 months. On the backside, we'll cover the interest on the short term, and everybody walks away happy.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right. Hey, what's the rest of the scuttlebutt? I mean, I have my conversation with guys in my echo chamber. What's it sound like in your echo chamber? What's the near term and the 2021 forecast look like?
Bank Pacific, because we're a July to June company, and we spend 4 hours on strategic planning on Saturday morning. It was terrific. Again, a couple things to keep in mind. Think long term. Think how worse it can be than what it is, and be grateful for that. If you're a business, liquidity, and compassion. And, it's everybody in their whole life, during their life, you have a period where it hits the fan.
Yeah.
And those who do better than others, it's just a matter of how you handle when it hits the fan. So we're trying to stay positive, and again, we stress to each other. We're pretty lucky. It could be much worse. There are places. I mentioned this to somebody. I might have talked about it yesterday. Manila, and they found another case in the barrio, and they have put the entire barrio now on a 7-day shutdown. Only essential travel and only one person at a time, and otherwise the armed paramilitary that they've got in the Philippines might take up arms against you. Yeah, it could be worse. At least we got the internet, and at least we don't have any roving gangs of looters yet. Well, I have so much faith in our island and our people here, Saipan, Palau. We're not going to have that. We're going to have some people a little bit nuts sometimes, but that's going along whether you have a nice day or not. Yeah. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring that up. I think there's it's a concern, and it came up actually in a conversation that I had with my godbrother Mike Israel, and reminding people that there are still, it might not be Phil, but there might be some guys out there that are getting anxious about the notes that they are holding, and could actually be asking you to get current one way or the other, and get out there fast. But the bottom line here from Phil, and he can speak for other bankers in this town, is get a hold of your guy and let them know that you're still holding your breath, and times haven't turned around for you, so might need another month or two. And think long term. We're going to come out of this. I know it's kind of a cliche. We're in this together. That's a cliche, but it is true. If you think long term, we're going to be okay. I just got to get from here to there, though. It's that waiting and seeing how we're going to do that, what transitions. And pray that we don't make any more mistakes getting from here to there. Yeah, if you ask me when I was the Republican Party chairperson a couple of times, would I be saying this about Carl? You would have thought I was stupid, but I'm glad that Carl's there and his comments over the last couple of days about taking charge, the homeless, taking charge with tourism. I'm glad he's there because he's the personality. He has that personality that we need to get through this because it's. I think there are a lot of people you could tell, they resign, they retire, whatever. They can't take it, and it's tough what they're doing. They can't take it, but people like Carl can.
Yeah, that's people. You need to bookmark this on your video. Phil Flores just said he's glad that Carl Gutierrez is running the rebuild.
No, I just hope now that he's not going to run again and send me a fundraiser.
Why not? Why not? Phil, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your positive notes.
You bet. Always happy to be there. Thanks, everybody.
888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number. Yeah, it's not something you hear from Phil all the time, and anybody that knows the relationship between those two knows that there's been a little bit of salt in there from time to time. Sarah Garin is online. Did I see Lizelle in there in the mix as well? Hafa Rudy Magallanes is hanging out. Sandra De Leon saying, love it. Pam Duvall says, stand your ground, talking about the guys with the guns. Rick Duenas, yes, that one from over at The Plays. Jerry Pastonis is online. And what's that, Janice saying? Hell yeah, I can't have weapons, but I have a level 2 protection. That is a Shepherd and a Doberman in level 2 training. Real Joe, what's level 2? What's that mean?
As far as weapons are concerned?
Dog training.
No, dog training.
Dog training. Level, somebody, you got to hook me up with a define on that. Don Rafalin says, poor muzzle discipline, and the lady is flagging her old man. There's videos that you can watch. You can go to videos, and they teach you in some of these videos, husband and wife, man and woman, couple in a relationship, what to do if things go south and you're accosted by ne'er-do-wells. And the assumption is you are armed. What is her role? What is your role? In putting the threat away. That's interesting videos, and they're all over the internet. Aries Mendiola, Shirley's moves to the old location in Agana.
Is that the Hamilton Hotel?
The Hamilton Arms Hotel?
Really?
I want to say.
That was the very first time I had Shirley's, and it was with you, and I tried pork chops and fried rice, and I was hooked on Shirley's for life.
Forever and ever and ever, amen. You remember with the mandatory, you get the soup. Whether you want soup or not, you're going to get corn soup, and that was the way it was. Yeah. So Shirley's over on one side, and then further towards the end of the building was Uncle Sam's. If my memory serves, and then
yeah, I think so.
And then Chef Eddie had his place in there as well. And
was it Tossi Bistro?
No, it had a French name or something like that. I'll remember in a second. Kevin Kanata is online. We'll say Kanata French style. MP Ogo and Jan Mabini and others playing around. Jim Bonato, what you talking about there, Jim? I was looking at you. Romeo Carlos is there. Romeo, how can people watch the rebroadcast or a video on demand of you and Uncle Robert? I've been asked the question, did I watch it? And I said, no, I wasn't able to watch it. But while I got time, yeah, Hamilton or Hamilton Arms is the name of the building. I don't know who the current owner is, but they had gone through kind of a refurb process. And I got to tell you, I like what they did with the outside of it. And there's enough, I think there's enough demand for decent, affordable housing in that part of town. And I'm kind of hoping that at some point, people might be able to go back into it, maybe as a B&B or something like that. And I am hoping that the same way that the Security Title prettied up their building and all of the rest of the buildings in the area got prettied up. I'm hoping the same thing happens with that Hamilton. Now that they're pretty, some of the other businesses and residences in that part of Agana will pretty themselves up. 7 o'clock in the morning, the radio station is KUSG Hagutnia 93.3. This is The Point. Coming up, I've got Fox News Live on the other side of that. Montecillo Tyrant with all of the big stories about honest, genuine mistakes that we're going to be talking about all day long. And then, of course, Jerry Roberts. You get two Jerry Roberts today because it's Tuesday. So you got him once in the radio and then another one in the Guam Daily Post. The work zone today, escaping mediocrity is guaranteed. What's that mean? Well, maybe he'll riff on that for a little bit when we get started. 7 o'clock, this is The Point.
In
investigating reports of Russian bounties. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The White House says President Trump wasn't personally briefed on U.S. intelligence assessments that Russia offered bounties to the Taliban to kill Americans in Afghanistan.
There is no consensus within the intelligence community on these allegations, and in effect, there are dissenting opinions from some in the intelligence community with regards to the veracity of what's being reported.
White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany this afternoon says the president has yet to be briefed on the reports. The president earlier tweeting he was not briefed because the evidence against Russia is not credible. The Supreme Court today in a 5-4 ruling striking down a Louisiana law regulating abortion clinics. Chief Justice John Roberts joining with his 4 more liberal colleagues in a ruling that the law requiring doctors who perform abortions have admitting privileges at nearby hospitals violates the abortion rights the court first announced in the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision. A suspect dubbed the Golden State Killer pleading guilty today to a number of murders, rapes, kidnappings, and other crimes committed in the 70s and 80s.
The now 74-year-old former police officer Joseph James D'Angelo was wheeled into the large university ballroom wearing a face shield.
You cannot change your mind after I accept your pleas today. Do you understand, sir?
Yes. Deputy District Attorney Tin Ho said the number of crimes D'Angelo committed in several counties was staggering.
Encompassing 13 known murders and almost 50 rapes.
D'Angelo said guilty to the murders and kidnappings and, I admit, to crimes uncharged due to statute of limitations. He will be sentenced in August to multiple life sentences.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. D'Angelo was spared the death penalty through a plea deal. Stocks ending the day with solid gains. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all closing higher. America is listening to Fox News.
When you can do what you need to do from wherever you are, why wouldn't you? The Going Online Together partners encourage you to explore all the ways you can safely, securely, and conveniently go digital. Pay bills, check account balances, register for services, and much more. And don't worry, when you practice safe online activity, you can trust that your personal information is secure. Be part of the new norm, make life easier, and join in the movement of going online together.
As we emerge from the effects of the global pandemic, Security Title is rethinking how to best serve our customers. With our houses clean and closets reorganized, here's a reminder to take a look at the title to your house and other real estate. Is your trust in order? Is it time to update your wills? Do you have the best interest rate available on your home? As we get back to work, there's no better time to revisit your most valuable asset, your property. Call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Government officials in Tehran have issued dozens of arrest warrants for President Trump, a move U.S. Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook calls a political stunt.
This has nothing to do with national security, international peace, or promoting stability. And so we see it for what it is. It's a propaganda stunt that no one takes seriously and makes the Iranians look foolish.
Iran says the president is guilty of ordering a drone strike that killed a top Iranian general in Baghdad. Meantime, U.S. and Saudi officials want the arms embargo on Iran extended. The European Union is finalizing a list of countries whose citizens will be allowed back into Europe in coming days, but Americans aren't among those able to make the trip. The EU is reopening its borders to some countries who have been able to keep down coronavirus infection rates, but point to growing numbers in the U.S. as a reason to keep Americans out of Europe for the time being. Travelers from Brazil, India, and Russia are also barred from entry. The ongoing pandemic hits another grim milestone.
The number of people losing their lives in the coronavirus pandemic passing 500,000, according to a global tally from Johns Hopkins University. Around 1 in 4 of those deaths have been in the United States. This as the number of confirmed infections hits 10 million, with record numbers of new cases being recorded in the US, India and Brazil. Experts say the real numbers are likely far higher, pointing to issues with testing and reporting. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson today saying the coronavirus pandemic has been a disaster for Britain as he announced a major spending program to get the country back on track. He's discussing funding for schools, housing, and infrastructure. More than 43,000 Britons have died from COVID-19. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Business chocho purer krachita ang tatak apkaiten yumsek. Kachela nane itaitawan cheko santikan. Segmia waniang coronavirus sa suma which erkiche kupur kalangan o proposla itaitawan ko santikan katuwang kumuisang mechikan impeach wano pero kumuy oter takseli nan masan way pakon kan budan be ang sukarus. Kichay pachowan itawan ko santikan te kosonet karos mes kosantisang at chay son kawit kan. Kichay anane uya chay puka puen koti to pesengin coronavirus. Kom agar silu ew ang mangichik te kawit kan. Karwech kotong kumuy isang Micronesian Resource Center, one-stop shop o stations of choice broadcasting sa wasang U.S. Department of Interior, Office of Insular Affairs.
Hafide, this is Kayla from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated team in Guam and the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Off a day at 7:06. I'm Monica Silver-Tyron, and here's a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. The governor's extended the public health emergency another 30 days. That's up until July 30th. That was also delaying the reopening of the island's tourism industry. The governor cited the recent jump in COVID-19 cases. Yesterday, public health counted 7 new positive cases. To date, there have been a total of 255 confirmed COVID-19 cases on Guam. They say 71 of those cases are active. The Guam Visitors Bureau was counting on reopening the island's tourists to tourists this month, and they are still holding out hope that they will welcome travelers by at least mid-July, even with the emergency extension. Governor Carl Gutierrez, who heads GVB, says, of course, it is subject to the direction of the governor and her medical advisory board. The head of that board, Dr. Felix Cabrera, says that the timeline he's giving is not impossible. Well, we should know by tomorrow how the new school year will play out. The Guam Department of Education will give details on their plans in a press conference scheduled for around 10 a.m. Education officials have been meeting with parents, teachers, and staff to discuss the options before them for the new school year. Those options will be discussed with the Education Board today and will get their approval. The goal is to start the school year on August 11th. A bill promising to add some transparency with government operations during a state of public health emergency received some public testimony yesterday. The bill is by Senator Jim Moylan. It mandates the governor or public health to report on any action taken during an emergency, such as seizing a medical facility or supplies from a private entity. The Emergency Powers Act, he says, presently doesn't have the transparency language in it. And he says this is why it's so important. A major controversy during this current COVID-19 pandemic on Guam was the procurement of hotels used to host travelers coming to the island. Senator Moylan says he's looking forward to advancing that bill 338. More news after this.
Chili's introduces the new crispy ribs. Mouth-watering Texas-sized ribs tossed in country fried steak batter. Order your crispy ribs as an appetizer or a full rack entree with your choice of 2 sides. Each order comes with 1 of 3 new dipping sauces: the creamy avocado salsa, sweet Kentucky, or the sweet mango chipotle sauce. Chili's crispy ribs are available for a limited time only, so hurry in and enjoy a crispy, juicy ribs experience today. Chili's is on the 2nd floor at the Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's, we do ribs like no place else.
The governor, despite her reservations on the lack of equity for single parents, allowed a bill to pass into law. That's Bill 367. It's the Help for Families measure, promising $500 for each eligible member within a family. Additionally, she passed legislation on safe housing for victims and additional protections for victims of sexual assault, among other bills that were passed. The bill authorizes the governor to transfer up to $10 million from the program, including from the CARES Act money. She said in her letter to the legislature, in the next few days, she will work with the author to dispense payments to individuals left behind by the federal law. Families are to apply for that program at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, which has up to 30 days to establish the rules for the program. The governor also signed a Bill 323, which allows for limited exemptions to small businesses under the Dave Santos Small Business Enhancement Act to mitigate financial impacts from COVID-19. Senator Luis Muñoz says it was a genuine mistake after filing an unemployment claim with the Department of Labor. She left out her $55,000 salary as a senator when filing and later learned that because of that salary, she would be ineligible to get financial aid, even after losing all of her income as a musician and gym instructor during the COVID-19 pandemic. She has since withdrawn her application. Meanwhile, the Department of Labor continues to warn filers of fraud and reminds people to put all sources of income when filing for federal unemployment aid. They also remind filers if they need more information, they could call 311 to contact the Department of Labor. Also claiming he made a mistake, federal identity theft case defendant Evan Montvale Cohen acknowledged he violated his pretrial release conditions. He says he made a mistake during an evidentiary hearing held before the District Court of Guam Magistrate Judge Mike Berdalio. He admitted he violated his pretrial release conditions when he and his third-party custodian failed to let U.S. probation know that he had relocated to another residence. Montvale Cohen told the court that he'd been in and out of the emergency room and was admitted to the Guam Regional Medical City when he found out that his landlord had his electricity cut off. He also said he had no intention of moving out of his residence. However, he told the court that he should have updated the U.S. Probation Office. And those are your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with your weather.
Says partly cloudy today, Mono, with isolated showers. Thunderstorms are in the forecast again. I think just because they like to type thunderstorms. You know, just what are we missing today? No murder hornets? Okay, put thunderstorms. So we got that there. Winds east 10 to 15 miles an hour. Highs today should be about 89 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers some more. And those thunderstorms. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, and lows should be near 80 degrees. Heat index will make it feel like 94 degrees. Sun came up at 5:57 this morning. Will go down at 6:51. Hashtag tell the others. It's 7:12 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont or call 646-1463.
As we stand up to coronavirus by standing back with social distancing, Bank Pacific reminds you that you can come to the bank without going to the bank. Use many of our other delivery platforms like online banking at bankpacific.com, accessing cash at our ATMs, shopping with our debit cards. For businesses, we have secure cash and check drop windows, and we are employing a new smarter mobile app with remote deposit capture in the next few weeks. We're all in this together, and together we will win. Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, we place roots. Member FDIC.
Thanks, Bill. 7:13 in the morning, and it's time to tell you about Wendy's, and you can go and get the spaghetti deal. So get your spaghetti combo meal with spaghetti with meat sauce, fries, and a drink for just $5. Now, you can upsize that, so you get the biggie value, double the spaghetti, large fries, and a 42-ounce drink for $8. And as I said, Mott have been talking about if you don't want the fries, because there's some people, fries to somebody else. Can I exchange that with something? And the answer is yes. According to Mana, you can ask for, and they will put it together for you. So you got your big drink, you got your spaghetti, and there's the side salad there. There's no meat on it because it's just a side salad. But, you can put the dressing and, eat the onions and the cheese and all that stuff that goes in there. That means you get two little plastic things. That's nice. That's nice. So check it out today with Wendy's. Portions of the program also brought to you by Security Title. Ron and Kim working on all kinds of stuff over there. Maybe some complex real estate transactions. Yeah, they've seen it all, have done it all. So check them out today at Security Title.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Got me thinking about Ron and Kim while I was doing that. It reminded me about an ad that I saw in a newspaper, and maybe it's something they can check out. I'm wondering in these coronavirus 19 times, what's happening in the real estate game? Are there still transactions going on, or are there still guys out there that are going, well, it's now or never. I'm going to buy me a house, and what the current rates are for a house. I haven't checked the MLSs, but there was an interesting ad that I saw in a newspaper yesterday, and I completely forgot to read about it. House for sale in Jigo. Chigo property. So we've got 5 beds, 3 bathrooms, a 4-car garage, and it's got a fence. So you got your dogs. Your level 2 dogs are out there. We actually got an answer on that. So how much would you think that would go for? 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 4-car garage with a fence. How much up in Chigo Town? What would you pay?
$550,000.
That number is too high, Mana.
Wow, really?
Yes.
I was going to say
Yes.
upward of that.
You think $500,000? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 4.25.
Oh, wow.
$425,000 for this place up in Chigo. Dave is selling it. I don't know which Dave it is, but he put the number in yesterday's paper. I'm assuming it's concrete.
It's not a container?
Spackle. It's made with Jerry Roberts' old tofu. You know, it's the stuff he didn't eat because it already comes in a brick shape, so you just get enough of those things.
Noodles.
Ichiban. What now? It's Ichiban and when the guys and what's the stuff they
Spackle.
No, it's not spackle. They'll get there's a hole in the sink, right? And then they'll take the Ichibang in there, and then they spray something on. What is that, crazy glue?
I have no idea.
To make it hard?
Maybe it's the foam.
Isn't that what you use to fix your car?
The super duper foam.
Yeah, they're doing body work with noodles nowadays.
Sure, why not? Somebody will know and answer the question. But there's maybe the house is made of that. I don't know. So $425,000 for 5 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 4-car garage. So it's you got plenty of room in there for 4 regular cars or 8 of those little tiny cars that Gabe Baker is selling, right?
You know, it sounds wonderful, but then I see that as 5 bedrooms that you have to clean, 3 bathrooms that you have to clean.
How much?
Probably
what's the electric bill going to be?
400 square.
Something like that. Scary, right?
Yeah.
Pierre Terrine is online. I see Nick Perlowski, Kenny Williams, DT, and based on some of the headlines, DT with, I like this, I'm so glad you're alive to see your genuine mistake as a teaching moment. Thanks very much. That will never get old. Denise Pangilinan, did she decide whether she's running for senator or not? Do you recall? I thought I heard that she was. Maybe today. I don't know. Janae Uggan went on Facebook yesterday and said she was out. What do you got? Keith Toy is there. June Bells Carino is online. Oil Niradikel is there. Buenos Tuesday Team Point says June. Good to have you there. Catherine Cruz, did you go rocket ride this morning? Were you on the bicycle going fast? Tommy Barcinas and Heather Perez. Good morning to Tomingo Ree and Denise. Says the legislature can have these hearings on other things, but not the cannabis industry opening. You'd think they'd want the economy to open up for the locals. Claudia Casacco Ocampo says, Ray, don't say it's going to be sunshine. Well, it might be. I think it's going to be sunshiny all day today. When is online saying good morning, everybody. Charlorna Laron, there's John Palau. Shauna, Tattoo Shauna saying tofu and Ichibang. You can rebuild civilization with tofu and Ichibang and a Swiss Army knife. It can be done. You get the good Swiss Army knife. Say Martinez is there and Kevin Huggins saying good morning to everybody. James Howard said, I saw a house in Pago on the hill, $9,000 a month, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, 2-story backyard, fire pit on an acre with a 2-car garage. Yeah, $9,000 a month for something like that. Pago, that's a nice place. That's a nice. We actually bought property up there on the cliff line on Pago. I mean, not low cliff line, the big cliff line, right? There was a building. They had plans for a cul-de-sac in that area, and I want to say it's one of my banker buddies had an acre, quarter acre property, beautiful house, and it was right next to our lot. And he says, Ray, what are you going to do with that lot? So do you know? I think I'm just going to clear it. I'm going to get a 20-foot container and a 40-foot container and one of those swimming pools from Kmart. What do you think? Can I put the generator?
Beverly Hills Billy.
I'm gonna put the generator on your side of the property if that's all right. And he says, please.
Thank you for improving the neighborhood.
No, it worked out because he bought the property from me, so I wouldn't move in.
Well, that's one way to do it.
That's the way. Yeah, that's what Trump would have done. I'll buy the property if you give, so you can't move in on it. 7:19 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio. We must be heading into to the extra point before too much longer. But let me take care of looking at some of the numbers. And today we'll actually take a look at some other hard commodities besides oil and where we are in the stock market, because they say that there's things happening with gold and copper. Gold and copper. And I say copper carefully because there's thugs listening going, what? Price of copper is going up? And they're going to start looking around for copper and brass to peel off of monuments, etc. All right, here we go on the markets. S&P 500 up by 44 points to close at 3,063. All the American markets are up today. NASDAQ at 98.74. They picked up 116 points. Dow Jones Industrial Average looks like it might be in the recover mode. 580 points in the green to close at 25,595. FTSE up by 66 points. Nikkei is off by 517. The Hang Seng is off by 288. Wow, Shanghai off by 18 points as well. And then we see the DAX at 142. So that's what's going on with all of the markets around the country. We've got West Texas crude today trading at $39.63. That's up from where it was yesterday, $38.49. It's Tuesday, and that means the Tapas is frozen there. $42.46 is what we were crowing about yesterday. You take a look, and Smug likes it every once in a while when I take a look at the precious metals. So here we go. I'm not going to say it's a surge for gold, but they are up. Gold trading today at $1,784 an ounce. That's up by almost $4 whole. But, you know, if you track the numbers on gold, that's actually not so bad. Silver off by about 7 cents, $18.09 for an ounce of that stuff. And we get to copper. And copper is moving up. It's $2,068. Sorry, $2,684, but you got to come in with a ton of that stuff to get that kind of rate. Okay, yeah, it's not more valuable than gold. Gotcha. It's still it's just one of those things. Now I wanted to throw a couple of other numbers out because you might be listening to the JIC reports and Crystal Paco in the governor's office coming out with a couple of numbers, total confirmed new numbers of the coronavirus, and it's 7, and it sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Right? I mean, most of the time it's 0, 1, you know,
lately it's been on the upswing, but anyway, but 7's the number.
So here's why that number should not alarm or surprise anybody. Okay. It comes from 1,318 samples.
In a day?
Yeah. Well, actually over 2 days, from the 29th, 26, 27, 28, and 29. So of all of the samples and the testing that they did, they came out with, I want to say, 1,318 samples, plus 65 on that. So it'll be 1,370 or so. 13. They have conducted more in those 3 days than they had conducted in virtually all of April.
Is this drive-by stuff, or what is this?
It's whatever they're doing over at Public Health and Social Services might be their drive-by. There's some testing that's going on over at Navy Hospital, some testing with diagnostic labs. GMH is doing testing. Guam Regional Medical City is included in that.
This is all the same stuff. Long swab about this long, right in the nose, and to the back of the head, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Right? So what's rectal mean? I think that's a new kind that they're using over there. I don't know.
They're not.
I'm playing.
Don't listen.
So I want to put things in perspective. When you start looking at the numbers, and everybody's, they're going to go into, high twitch panic mode because they got 7 numbers, but realize again that those 7 numbers come from the testing that they did that equals all of the testing that they did all the way through April.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of tests that were conducted, and if we did about the 1,370 or so tests, and we only got 7 out of it, do the mathematics. It's still only about 2%. Yeah, 723. So nobody panic. Please, everybody, keep things into perspective, and maybe one of these days we'll be able to convince them how to put reports out that aren't designed to mislead and scare people. 723. Jerry Roberts is in the studio. As you can tell, we've got the extra point coming your way in a couple of minutes. But double Jerry Roberts today. It's Tuesday, and for some people, that in and of itself is reason to get out of bed on Tuesday because you get double dose of Jerry Roberts. You get him one time here on the radio with the extra point, Guam Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, and then you also get him in the Guam Daily Post. And today's article is called "Escaping Mediocrity is Guaranteed." Do you? So I love Tuesdays because I'll bring this up. I'll go, okay, and do you remember what the gist of that article might be there, Jerry Roberts?
Actually, I do.
You do?
Yes.
What is it, pray tell?
It's online. You got to read.
I know it's online.
Basically speaking, that people that have been locked into a mindset that cannot cannot get any further in life. This is it. It's not.
No. There's always more.
Doesn't have to be.
There's always something else. There's always another door to knock down.
Does not have to be. And I lay it kind of out exactly what to do. If you got a mind to do more than what you're doing now, if that's where you want to go, you can.
What's wrong with average? Ask yourself that. Does background matter? When examples are harder to find? Want more? Do this. All bite-sized questions and answers that you can find in today's Guam Daily Post. Worth the price of buying. If you're at the store, that is worth the 75 cents. All the other big stories, all of the other headlines, all the other ads and stuff, pale in comparison with the value of today's Extra Point, the work zone in the Guam Daily Post. Only 75 cents. It'll change your life.
Thank you,
Jerry
sir.
Roberts is here with the Extra Point. Again, brought to you by Guam Insurance Services and the team over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
How much sleep did you get last night?
Up at 2 o'clock in the morning, tossing and turning till
Not
4.
much.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was broken.
It's about 10-ish, about 4 hours, yeah.
4 hours. Real Joe?
Joe doesn't sleep.
How much sleep did you get last night?
4 hours.
4 hours, Mama?
He makes up for it by sleeping here.
I average about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay, we're kind of all in the same boat. I think I got 5.5, maybe
Wow,
6
that's
last
a
night.
full night's sleep.
Well,
for
yeah.
you.
Well, I've been doing better. It used to be I used to live on 5 hours and all that, and I've been doing better because sleep is really important. We've covered this ground before, and here we go again. How a lack of sleep has negative long-term effects on our health. Today we dig deeper, and it's not all about long-term consequences. That's up next on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
An easily overlooked part of covering our home is what's inside of it. Over time, we buy things we don't want to lose, but don't update our contents coverage. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
When I publish Directions Magazine, I frequently pulled all-nighters. That's when you don't sleep at all, to finish producing the layout in time to send it to the printer. Once I stayed up for 72 consecutive hours. When I finally went home and hit the bed, I slept for nearly 20 hours. I had no idea how this hurt my health at that point. Now I know, and I would never do it again unless the need was flat out critical and there was no other way. In his book, Brain Rules, 12 Principles for Surviving and Thriving at Work, Home, and School, author John Medina clearly shows the dangers of sleep deprivation. His book, along with others, also dispels as myth the idea that we can skimp on sleep all week long and somehow balance the scales on the weekend. If we get, say, 5 hours of sleep per night Monday through Friday, that's a total of 25 hours. The goal is 8 hours nightly. That puts us at a deficit of 15 so far. To catch up, we would have to sleep 16 hours on both Friday and Saturday nights if the catch-up theory worked. There's a couple of things wrong with that. One, you can't play catch-up with sleep. Two, even if you could, your body is already accustomed to those 5 hours of sleep per night, and it's not going to all of a sudden lock you in for 16 hours each for 2 days, then spring back to 5 hours nightly going into Monday. Yeah, that would be nice, but it doesn't work that way. As we've discussed before, research has shown that damaging proteins are deposited in the brain, and the body's cleanup crew is sent out to remove those proteins when we achieve deep sleep. Well, if we rarely get to deep sleep, the proteins are not cleaned out as well. Over time, these deposits build up and impact cognitive functions. Sleep experts now think this is a connection to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. But that's the long-term discussion. How does lack of sleep hurt us in the here and now? Medina's research showed that if a student who normally scores in the top 10% of his or her class and gets less than 7 hours of sleep a night, the scores will begin to match the bottom 9% of students who are getting enough sleep. The bottom 9%. Another study showed that one night of lost sleep resulted in a 30% loss in overall cognitive ability and performance for soldiers operating complex military hardware. 2 nights of lost sleep, a 60% drop. Medina cited other studies that showed when sleep was restricted to 6 hours or less per night, cognitive performance was equivalent to someone who had just gone through 48 hours of continual sleep deprivation. In other words, it was like they just performed 2 consecutive all-nighters. If you're a manager or business owner, You need to accept the fact of life. If your workers suffer from a chronic lack of sleep, your organization is suffering from a chronic drop in productivity. And there's more. Do you consider yourself a multitasker? Well, here's the reality. The brain operates sequentially, focusing on one thing at a time. And there is a certain amount of time required for the brain to switch from one thing to the next. And this is measured in fractions of a second. Imagine if you're driving while talking on your phone and there's no hands-free device. Well, no one does that anymore. You're steering the vehicle and holding the phone, maybe even looking at a text message. If you're traveling at 40 miles per hour, it'll take less than a second to go 50 feet. And another half second for the brain to focus. Now you've gone 75 feet. Then you glance at the text for a second, maybe two. Then back to the road. Another half second for the brain to focus. And in a total, you've gone about the length of a football field. You know what? It'll take even longer if you're suffering from sleep deprivation. And here's your bottom line. 80% of vehicle crashes happen within 3 seconds of some kind of driver distraction. Need more? Lack of sleep makes it difficult to lose weight. Do you diet and work out and still can't get rid of those pounds? How many hours of sleep do you get every night? When people don't get enough sleep, the body's ability to use the food it consumes drops. Stress hormones levels rise. Your insulin goes out of whack, and your efforts at dieting are undermined. Let this go on long enough, and you begin to age at a faster rate inside, which will eventually show up outside. Do everything you can. Do everything you can to get 8 hours of sleep. Your life will improve in many ways. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Okay, so we all agree. 8 hours of sleep would be a wonderful thing.
8 hours straight sleep, or can you stagger it?
The idea is to get into sleep and get the deep sleep and achieve that. No, you can.
I don't remember the last time I slept.
I know that, and that's the trouble. As a society, we don't. We used to.
Yeah.
We don't do
Maybe
it anymore.
When I was very, very young.
And one of the reasons is this.
What, the phone?
The phone.
Well,
I put the phone away. I don't have a television in my bedroom.
Okay.
I blame it on early morning radio because this is a habit that I developed 20 years ago.
Still there.
And
yeah.
Even before that, when I was doing like my competitive training and stuff, it was just the early morning hours was the best time for me to get up, and I never I never broke it.
Well, okay. I got you. I mean, I lived kind of that life, too, for a while, okay?
You were always late.
Because I was trying to sleep longer.
How do you do it?
I used to be the guy, when I first started, I was the guy at the radio station that was replaced by Jerry.
We nap now. I do work in some naps.
The naps
in the
are
day.
okay.
At least
Yeah,
15
I do naps.
minutes,
I
but
do
you
naps.
do longer naps.
Yeah,
I do 15 minutes is good.
Still in all, science is suggesting that even if you nap to try to catch up, it's good. And maybe you wake up refreshed, but what's going on inside, that cleanup of those proteins and all, it still doesn't take care of it all. So, I mean, the idea, the goal, the ideal thing to do would be to train your body as much as possible, and there's just gobs of information on the web on how to do these things. But you've got to train your body to build up from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 if you can, and live with that. Because that, from a physiological standpoint, is simply better for you.
So, online, the Facebook Live crew, because I know that there's a couple of, I'm sure that there are people on the Facebook Live that have encountered this and maybe have got ideas on how they get to sleep. And now you can give me the joke stuff. I'm expecting the joke stuff. Listen to reruns of Ray's show, and that helps put me to sleep. That's fine. We can do a couple of those. But for real now, if there's anybody out there that has had sleep issues in the past and found a way, your process that got you to 8 hours, or I'd settle for 7. I'd be wild at 6. If you've got a method that works for you, type it in on the Facebook Live and let us know what it is. Because I think that's a good idea. I mean, Anthony Mendiola's online saying, I love this subject, Jerry, because it's something that we all have to deal with. It's something that we recognize is a problem and just go, well, I guess I'm at that age, or I've developed a habit, or I don't need 8 hours of sleep in order to function.
You can train, the idea is the older you get, you need less sleep and all that stuff. You can train your body to recapture sleep. What is across What is across
This
the
is a
hall
sleep
here?
place.
The Guam Sleep Center is
Yeah.
right here.
Right.
Sleep studies are a huge thing. It's kind of like one of what they call who was it? Star Trek, right? It's the final frontier, right? Sleep studies are a huge thing now, and I mean, people go in there and they get hooked up and they find out, why their sleep is being broken up, and then they prescribe something for you. But you don't have to do that. I mean, there's information online, but you've got to make the effort to do these things, and you can get 15 minutes back and then extend it to 30. There's apps on your phone that'll help you to do these things.
There's apps?
We have
that?
Oddly, because you had mentioned that the phones keep you up.
If you got it in your face,
Yeah.
because there's that blue light thing. But you can use the phone, the apps in the phone, to actually help you. But the phone's over here on the nightstand, right? You can actually train your body to recapture sleep. How much? I don't know. But the more sleep you get, the better off you are.
James Howard says scheduling is key for me. Make the schedule and then build around it. Sandra de Leon Guerrero says after cancer, it's not a choice. My body shuts down after 9 hours of work and just stop and find pillow. John Ray Tyson, maybe the best idea of all, bourbon. You get it. I asked for process. That's what I get. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Jerry Roberts in today's Extra Point at 7:35. We could go on this all day long because everybody has their adventures with sleep, and you ask 10 people and you'll get 10 different answers on how well they think they sleep. And I guess the ultimate question is are you willing to do this for the rest of your life? Are you willing to keep this sleep schedule for 4, 6, 5 hours a night? Are you willing to do that for the rest of your life, or do you realize that there is better for you?
Well, if you don't do it for the rest of your life, the rest of your life might be a little shorter.
Exactly.
But are you willing to eat for the rest of your life? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, then are you willing to add a little sleep to your body for the rest of your life? Yeah.
Nate Horn says I use white noise or ASMR to go to sleep. You know what ASMR is?
I do know what it is, but
it's a weird thing. Go to YouTube, look up ASMR on YouTube. There's a girl out of the Philippines that does it. And she's got an incredible voice, good looking lady, but an incredible voice, and she does ASMR videos.
The videos and things that it has to do with massage too.
There's the conversation. You can have a conversation with somebody, but it's almost a whispery, sing-songy thing that goes on, and that works. Nate Horn, you're absolutely right. White noise. I've got a white noise generator on every Apple deal that I have, and as an example, and sometimes white noise when I'm asleep. Go to YouTube and just type in white noise in the search bar, and it will come up with all kinds of white noise. Sounds like ocean. It's electronic simulation.
Yelling?
Is like Karen yelling would be the opposite of it.
Ocean. Well, a repetitive noise of some kind.
Well, not repetitive. White noise is an absence of signal.
But the white noise is.
Static on the radio. So if you're listening to old AM radio, detune the radio station and pick up static. You'd be surprised at how quickly that will put you to sleep, and incredibly how well it will help you study when you're trying to focus on something. Little white noise in the background, you'd be surprised, astonished really on how it works. These guys that do these Rubik cubes things and ultra memorizers, same thing. They to focus on what it is that they're looking at, they block everything out generally with white noise. That's why you see these guys with headphones.
I've used classical music. I've used white noise. I also just pick up a book.
Yeah.
And if you're in bed, just pick up a book and begin to read, and guarantee that book's going to be on the floor pretty soon. You're going to be sleeping.
Just a fascinating conversation. I'm glad you brought it up. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point, 7:38 in the morning. 7:30 News now brought to you by GPSI Guam. 477-3058 to find out how GPSI Guam can assist you, partner you up with maybe that next big company that's coming to Guam. Auntie Loli Cammett of Remax Diamond Realty for all of your real estate needs. Give her a call at 688-6743. Now with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Mana Silva Tyrant.
You might have been anxiously awaiting the lifting of the public health emergency, but it'll be at least another month after the governor extended the public health emergency yet again to July 30th. The governor citing the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. Yesterday, public health counted 7 COVID-positive cases. To date, there have been a total of 255 confirmed. 71 of those cases are active. We should know by tomorrow how the new school year will pan out. The Department of Education will give the details on their plans in a scheduled press conference. They've been weighing their options and will include plans for homeschooling online and even classroom times with alternating schedules. Those options will be discussed and approved by the Education Board when they meet today. The goal is to get school open by August 11th. And budget hearings continue today at the legislature. Several agencies taking the seat. Land Management, the first one with the Chamorro Land Trust Commissions, and then the Department of Parks and Recreation and the Guam Regional Transit Authority. The hearing at the Guam legislature, the first one starts at 9 o'clock this morning. And those are your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com.
All right, can do. 888-825-5888-TAOK. That coughing you heard in the background, not to worry, it is coronavirus. There is 7:40 in the morning. Do me a favor. I'm going to put this up on the screen. This is one of the places where I go, and in fact was here on YouTube over the weekend because I was yeah. There's audio on it. Wait. That's I got it wrong.
Oh man, what a flight.
I got too many. I got too many things open. Go ahead and restore. So what? This is airplane white noise, and they've fashioned it so it sounds like you're in first class on the airplane, and not too far away from the jet engine roar on it. So if you can imagine that you're studying or you're trying to go to sleep, you've got this white noise playing in the background, and you've been on airplanes before, and sometimes once you get up to about 30,000 feet and we level off, that's it. I'm out in a lot of cases. But you can get things like this. Now they've got another two or three that I've vested in, and there's one where it's a little bit of a lower rumble, and the idea is that you are in a spaceship that is going through space in the universe, and you've got this kind of a thrum in the background. And again, it's white noise, which is basically noise without a pattern. And the idea is that there is no information, there's no signal being sent to you, so your brain doesn't lock in on the sound. It's not hearing something repetitive. It's not hearing something that sounds like you need to pay attention, and it really will help you focus. And I believe that it will help you sleep. It's done wonders for me in the times that I've tried it. 7:41 in the morning, and good luck to you. You want to know more about that kind of thing? Better yet, go to iConnect and get yourself a phone that you can put the white noise app on. And they've got these. They've got white noise. I'm just going to talk about this all day. They've got white noise apps that you can customize and add different layers of sound. So you want to be on the airplane? That's fine. Maybe you want to be on a city street in the rain. Well, how much rain do you want? Is there wind that goes along with that? How about if you want to be in a forest and there's a stream out there? Well, how big is the stream? How fast is the water going through? Are there birds in the area? Yeah, and you might filter in some bird song and things like that. Really is kind of fascinating when you get into playing around with it. Also, and moms will know this, you need to get the kids used to falling asleep around noise. So what do? You turn on a vacuum cleaner. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why that works so well. Number one, it's noisy, and number two, you get the kids used to sleeping with noise. But the white noise will also help put the kid to sleep.
It does sometimes.
That's why we sleep so well with the air conditioner and the fan. 7:42 in the morning. All right. That's iConnect time.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Camet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Camet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
No, I don't want to do a traffic report. I want to play another white noise. I told you they have one with a spaceship on it, and this is what the video looks like. This the video, and you can turn up the audio. Do you hear that low end rumble? Do you hear that? Yeah,
yes,
that's what it's supposed to sound like if you're on a spaceship zipping through the universe with the stars and what looks like space clouds that are zipping by you at speeds beyond light.
Frontier.
Very, very cool technology, and that's what white noise can do. And for those, probably shouldn't play this while people are driving, right? Just a thought. 7:44 in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Portions of now. Am I supposed to do the traffic now?
No, it's KFC at GRMC.
Oh, okay. So for KFC, here's the deal: the donuts, and my buddy said he actually got his hands around one of those sandwiches. and loved its sweetness and its goodness. You get a donut on top, you get a donut on the bottom, and you've got a piece of chicken in between it, and it is good. It is awesome. The only thing is you got to figure out a way to eat it so that it doesn't get the juice from the donut and the chicken doesn't get all over your beard. Or actually, maybe that's a good thing because it means that you can eat it. Everybody that kisses you, right, will taste the donut when they do that. Anyway, you can get that, and you can order that to go if you want. You can order them to deliver that. 300 FAST is their telephone number. Portions of the program also is brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs.
GPSI Guam is a professional technical services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They are SBA approved, 8A, and Hub Zone certified, providing program and project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. Contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 671-477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
What's that, DT? Sleep deprivation is a first world problem. In other places, it's called survival. 7:45 in the morning. All right, let me take a look at the traffic gizmo and see what's happening on Guam's roadways. Looks like just a lot of intersection traffic right now because there's still 30,000 people out of work. You might see some traffic. What is going on up north? I got traffic in the back road to Anderson. Take a look at that. So we got traffic. This is the cut through here, I believe, that goes from Payless and Paris Acres to Route 15. It looks like we've got some hassles coming out of the back gate of Anderson Air Force Base. No, it's leading up to Anderson Air Force Base back gate, right? Huh. And then traffic getting through there. Listen, if you are in that area and stuck in traffic, give me a holler on the phone or send me a WhatsApp with the front of what it looks like out of your front window. 988-5874. Appreciate that. So we got some traffic moving through there. Central traffic doesn't look so bad as I'm scooching down. A little bit of traffic on Route 8 as you're making your way into the downtown Agutnia area, and then Big Navy in Sumai. Looks like they've got some action happening at the intersection there between 1 and 2. That's right now traffic. And again, 988-5874 if you are up at the north end of Guam. Looks like traffic slowing down in the back gate to Anderson.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro in Hagåtña and Tumon are now open for takeout and free delivery services in selected locations. For more information, call 479-2652 or 3 or 969-2652. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with the true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine at the comforts of your own home. They take your favorite local dishes and serve them with extra flair you will only find at Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
Oh, maybe everything is stuck for people trying to get up there because they're having that exercise. They got war games taking place up there, right? Yeah, it could be some of that. Some interesting planes that are flying around. I love it when I get messages from people that say, "You didn't get this from me." What? Thanks. Wait a second. Is this the 19th floor? And then I get disappointed when it's not 19th floor stuff. What is? Hook me up with some of that stuff. What's that? Black noise matters is what somebody else is typing in. Who was it that typed in? Is it white noise? I'm offended. Triggered. We heard the word white noise, and now everybody going crazy. What's that? Smug says ASMR, Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Google that if you like, and I'll see if I can throw a couple of things in your direction. Joe Ed Cruz and his recipe for a good night's sleep, Boca Kitsi Maigu. Okay, now you're gonna need to find somebody of a person of Guam color here to describe, give you a definition, and some of you might even be delighted with a demonstration of what Boca Kitsi Maigu is going to be. Got Charlie Hermosa online. James Howard says mine is a monk meditation champs. That works out. Claudio Kosaka Ocampo, a homemaker, is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day a week job. Try sleeping 3 to 4 hours every week on a busy lifestyle. I wonder if this is causing me to have sleep paralysis since I was young. I don't get sleep paralysis. very often, but it's almost amusing when I do, and I realize, I can't move my leg, and then I do, and then I get that weird pins and needles feelings. One or two Freddies are after you in your sleep. Adonis Quito Mendiola says, sunlight, 20 minutes a day without the typical sunglasses or sunblock allows the relationship of melatonin to serotonin to be more absorbed by the brain. Meaning what? You might want to call in and give me an answer on that. Sandra De Leon Guerrero, on point as usual. Thank you, Jerry. Bell Netadog is there. James Howard says, this sleep story was on Joe Rogan's podcast 2 years ago. And Shauna Fujikawa Stickles, the tattoo Shauna, says, a cat purring in your personal space will help get you to fall asleep as well. Hoffa Phil Shrug is online. Joe Cruz says white noise is racist. James Howard says, when the white notice entwines with the REM dreams, then you will know. Sandra De Leon Guerrero, my hubby misses the rain hitting the tin house. That made him sleep well. You know, it doesn't cost a lot of money. Go Home Depot and find yourself a couple of pieces of tin and put them up somewhere, and then you get the same effect. Post Canteen says, yeah, Anderson Air Force Base exercising today, so expect some changes to the way in. My buddy Art Hammeister says they changed driving patterns today, and it shucks. Getting it. Cosendo Smug says, front gate okay, back gate not. Accident or boo-boo at the entrance. James says B-2 and F-35s would be my guess. So it looks like there's going to be some, like an air show out there if you can get close enough to the gate. Cos talking pink polo, chino pants, and AR-15 going to be this year's go-to Halloween costume. And, of course, he's talking about the dude that was protecting his house with his wife by his side. I love this Mon Pa Kettle out there. And they got, quote, peaceful demonstrators in their basically front yard. And they had gone out there with their guns to protect themselves and their property. And they are being applauded as heroes and demons on the Twitterverse, as you might imagine. There's something, I was talking with somebody yesterday saying they just can't handle Twitter anymore. There's just too much hate on Twitter these days, and we're finding that is becoming a problem all over the social media. I found this meme, and I'll put a warning here. I will put a warning that this might be easily, in all the years that I've been a part of social media and have been going back and forth on things, this might be maybe the most hateful thing that I've ever seen on Twitter. I'm apologizing in advance, but I do feel like I need to be able to demonstrate just how caustic things are in some parts of social media. This is why we should all be careful about giving our children access to phones. Look at this meme.
How dare you?
Don't be embarrassed to wear a mask in public. Some people wear a 49ers jersey.
Oh my God.
What's happened to society? What's happened to polite society?
It's what we become.
It is what we have become, and we've got to find a way, Real Joe, to go back. 888-8255-888-TALK. Do I do Senator first or Doctor first? What's Doctor? We'll do the Doctor. I haven't talked to the Doctor in a while, like 4 days. Dr. Tom Poole's on the line. Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
Good morning, Ray. Good morning. I'll be quick. I just want to tell you, I did something about 5 years ago that just really changed my life about sleep habits, and I'm not exaggerating, I don't think I could count on one hand. Prior to that, my entire long life that I had slept, 8 hours. It was just impossible for me. And I never had any trouble going to sleep, but I'd sleep 2 or 3 hours and something would wake me up. And I'm not exhausted anymore, and I start thinking, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and I just lived my whole life on 4 or 5 hours of sleep and just slogged around tired all day long.
Yeah.
And what I found was, I started with the Kindle, and now I use my smartphone, but reading books to me, reading these oral presentations of books, and it keeps me from thinking about my problems and things. And it's not like a television or something that's on, because if it's interesting, then you have to watch it then, or you miss it, And so you don't feel that pressure because you can always back up and listen to it again. And I mean, these things knock me right back out. I can get up and go to the bathroom. I can do anything, and I just listen to that. It keeps me distracted from thinking about problems. And it has just worked beautifully for me, and it's been, like I said, about 5 years now, and I think it's going to work for me forever.
So you just you put it in book mode, but have the phone or whatever it is read it to you?
Yes, yeah. The phone will read. One of my favorite sites is called LibriVox. It's LibriVox, and it's an app on your phone. It's a free app, and they have all these books that are in public domain. They're classics and that sort of thing. And so they have these really excellent readers who read these books out loud. And you know, I mean, the wife is sleeping right next to me, and she can't hear it because I have the phone under my pillow. And so the speaker's right there under my pillow, and I can hear it just fine. She can't hear it at all. And it just works beautifully. The thing reads all night long. Get up and go to the bathroom. It's still reading. I'm doing Great Expectations right now. Charles Dickens. The reader is fantastic. He's got a great voice. And he just so anyway, that has really worked for me. I just think it would work for a lot of people. It keeps you from thinking.
Yeah, well, I like the tip, and it's something that I might try. So they actually have human beings reading it, not the voice of Siri?
No. These are human beings, and one of my favorites, a guy named B.J. Harrison. You'll find him. He does this, and he does it all for volunteer. And it just amazes me the different inflections and accents and everything he can adopt. Very and cool. So it's really good.
We'll give it a shot.
All right, buddy. Thanks,
I will.
Ray.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll see you Saturday.
Yes, sir. Bye now.
755-888-8255. That's our favorite horse doctor, Tom Poole, territorial veterinarian, and that. With 4 minutes left to go, I got Jim Moylan in the studio. I wanted to get your take on your public hearing yesterday. You had one of my favorite people. I didn't realize this because you didn't mention it to me last night. First of all, thank you for dinner. I appreciate it. But you had Michelle Armenta was one of the people who provided testimony on your bill, right?
Absolutely, yes. Michelle did provide testimony. Written and also testified there. She was the prior president of Vigilance organization, and she brought up really good points. And we can do some amendments on this bill as well. But really, to never prevent the open government law, never stagnate that. Just keep that open no matter what. Mm-hmm. And that's what the bill was all about. We've seen from this Chapter 19 and Title 10 where this complete public health emergency and complete authority. It had good purpose, but it lacked the transparency, and that's what we want to add back into that public law, because it's going to be used, unfortunately, the way things are happening. It could be used once again once we get out of this because of another pandemic that could happen. So this time, as a learning lesson, because it was the first time used since the law became law over 20 years ago. And now we're seeing where we need to strengthen this for the protection of the public.
Well,
and
you and I have had this conversation. One of the things I'd like to add to it when it finally does come to the fore for some kind of discussion and debate is add an amendment into that measure that would require the governor after the first month or the first 2 weeks of any kind of emergency, if they want to extend that, they've got to get the advice and consent of the legislature and everybody else, because there is not enough of a debate in my mind on what justifies these rolling continuations of the public health emergency, because people need to get back to work. We've got to figure out what normal is going to be like moving forward, and I think it's difficult to do with the kind of uncertainty. We never know coming into the end of the month what's going to happen, what's going to transpire that will require an extension. So there is that one, and also, and I think this might actually get some traction from among others that would like to chime in on it. It may be a separate piece of legislation that says once the governor declares some kind of emergency and begins shutting businesses down, then they have to go without pay as well. Members of the legislature will have their payroll paused. Members of the governor's office and everybody's staff will have their payroll paused, and that should put a whole bunch of urgency on resolving our problems, because there's a whole lot of people that are being asked to be patient and wait out the bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy continues to get paid. So there's no pressure on them to get that done.
Very good point.
Okay.
And of course, we can look at those amendments to strengthen this as well.
Okay.
Yeah, non-essential is non-essential, and maybe part-time senator would even be better. But that's a separate bill.
But yeah, that's a separate bill. One quick question before it gets to be 8 o'clock in the morning. There's a rumor floating around that you are running for re-election. Is that so?
Absolutely. I'm there one more term. Let's see what we can do.
Gotcha.
Viva Jim Moylan.
Viva!
Viva!
All right, good luck. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to let you run and go back to being senator.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
You know I will. Have an outstanding day yourself. And again, thanks so much for dinner. Yeah, it was one of those things. I think we were both celebrating our belated birthdays together last night, and always fun conversations. You should hear what goes on and the thinking. We solve, when Jim and I are together, we solve all of the world's problems. But the deal is, though, nobody writes anything down, so it gets to be the next morning, we've all forgotten. The radio station that you're listening to right now, KUSG, Hagutnia 93.3, The Point, coming up. Mana's got her last big newscast of the day in just a few minutes on the other side of Fox News. Then it's going to be the 8 o'clock hour. Is there going to be more conversation about sleep? I might introduce you to a concept called ASMR. If you're not familiar with it, with a very, very pleasant voice, one of the bigger and most well-known voices, believe it or not, in the Philippines that you've never heard of. That's coming up on the other side of the Fox News. This is The Point.
He didn't know about it. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The White House press secretary reacting to reports that Russia offered bounties to Taliban-backed militants to kill American troops in Afghanistan.
Kayleigh McEnany says the president was not briefed on allegations of a Russian bounty on American troops. The reasoning? Because unverified information doesn't reach the Oval Office.
And I can confirm with you right now that there's no consensus within the intelligence community on these allegations.
McEnany also addressed the white power comment in a video the president tweeted, then deleted on Sunday, and whether he saw the entire video.
He did, and he did not hear that particular phrase.
Asked whether the president would ban Confederate flags from his rallies, McEnany deferred to the Trump campaign. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Reaction to the report from Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
Russia gives bounties to kill Americans. The administration does nothing. Donald Trump, you're not being a very strong president here, as usual.
Fox News has confirmed the National Security Council did meet to come up with a plan for responses, but did not brief the president. The man known as the Golden State Killer, pleading guilty today to dozens of rapes and murders in the 1970s and 80s, Joseph James DeAngelo took a deal which will spare him the death penalty.
It's anticipated that you will receive 11 consecutive life without the possibility of parole sentences, with 15 concurrent life sentences. Additional time for weapon enhancements will be imposed as mandated by law. Do you understand that as well, sir?
Yes.
Sacramento County Judge Michael Bowen. The hearing took place in the university ballroom to accommodate the families of DeAngelo's dozens of victims. Wall Street at the close. The Dow added 580 points. The NASDAQ plus 116. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Michelle from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Americans may not be able to travel to Europe this summer.
The EU has put 14 countries on an approved travel list for when it opens its borders to the world beyond July 1st. Missing from that list are the United States and Russia. Chinese visitors will be allowed to enter European countries if China lifts its travel restrictions on Europe. More than 15 million Americans travel to Europe annually, so this ban will be costly for the continent. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has warned the coronavirus pandemic is far from over. The U.S. is the country most affected, with the caseload growing by 40,000 a day, while India reported a rise of 20,000 cases Monday. China reported 12 new cases. Amy Kellogg, Fox News.
Health departments around the country that are using contact tracers to contain coronavirus outbreaks are scrambling to add to their ranks amid a surge of cases. One hard-hit Arizona county is relying on National Guard members to pitch in. The Trump administration has struck an agreement to secure large supplies of a coronavirus therapeutic drug.
The Health and Human Services Department has obtained 500,000 courses of the drug remdesivir from Gilead Sciences. Secretary Alex Azar says the administration wants to ensure that every American who needs a drug can get it. But remdesivir isn't free. It costs around $3,200 per treatment course in the U.S. Private insurance companies and Medicare are expected to shoulder some of the costs. The department will prioritize shipments of the antiviral to areas with higher numbers of hospitalizations. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Broadway will remain closed through January 3rd, 2021. Industry group the Broadway League has announced the theaters went dark in mid-March. They had previously set a tentative reopening date of September 6th. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Hot donuts with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sweet and savory, it's cooked to order. Get it in a basket or a sandwich. Only at KFC, it's finger-licking good.
That's right. It's here on Guam for a limited time. Get your favorite KFC chicken and donuts in a box meal or shared meal with 10 pieces of dark meat, 3 large sides, and 4 donuts. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Why wait in line when you can access your money more quickly and safely? Direct deposit with Bank of Guam allows you to receive your money electronically. This means no more paper checks, no more trips to the bank, and most importantly, no more time spent waiting in line. Sign up with your employer today to have faster and more convenient access to your funds. Be sure to have your account number, account type, and routing number on hand when signing up. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, member FDIC.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Camet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Camet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Half a day, it's 8:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. The island was expected to reopen its tourism industry on July 1st. However, a recent jump in COVID-19 cases has led the governor to push back that date. In fact, the governor signed yet another executive order extending the public health emergency until July 30th. It was originally set to expire on Monday. The Joint Information Center reported yesterday 7 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. Officials say one of the 7 reported household contact with another individual who was identified through contact tracing. The new cases increased the island's total COVID-19 cases to 255. 71 of them are active cases. It should also be noted that 42 of the total cases are military service members who were being housed at the Reef Hotel. Meanwhile, the Guam Visitors Bureau still holding out hope that the island will be able to reopen to tourists mid-July, even with the emergency extension. Governor Carl Gutierrez, who heads the Guam Visitors Bureau, says, of course, it's subject to the direction of the governor and her medical advisory board. Dr. Felix Cabrera says that the Gutierrez timeline is not impossible. Gutierrez said no inbound flights were delayed due to the announcement of the extension, as many of the airlines that have committed to reopening routes will resume service in late July or August. He adds, just because we say tourism opens on a certain day doesn't exactly mean that visitors will flock back to the island on that day. He says it will take time to build up interest. In the meantime, GVB has been hard at work informing source markets of their preparations being made to welcome our visitors back to the island. He says he thinks the biggest concern is quarantine and testing availability. The Guam Department of Education will give their details on how to carry out the next school year. They'll do that tomorrow in a press conference. Education officials have been meeting with parents, teachers, and staff to discuss options for the new school year. The options will be discussed with the Board of Education, which is meeting today. The board is expected to consider the plans that provide options for parents and students to include home learning online and homeschooling for families without internet and classroom time with alternating school schedules. In addition to the board's approval of the plan, DOE officials will still need the approval of the governor and the Department of Public Health. They are still shooting to have the school year opening up on August 11th. And a bill promising to add some transparency with government operations during a state of public health emergency received testimony yesterday in a public hearing. The bill by Senator Jim Moylan mandates the governor of public health to report on actions taken during an emergency, such as seizing of medical facilities or supplies from private entities. The Emergency Powers Act presently doesn't have any transparency language in place, and this, he says, is why the bill is important. A major controversy recently in this current COVID-19 pandemic has been the procurement of hotels for quarantine facilities. Well, it says he's looking forward to pushing his bill in the next session agenda. That's Bill 338. More news after this.
Chili's introduces the new Crispy Ribs. Mouth-watering Texas-sized ribs tossed in country fried steak batter. Order your Crispy Ribs as an appetizer or a full rack entree with your choice of 2 sides. Each order comes with 1 of 3 new dipping sauces: the creamy avocado salsa, sweet Kentucky, or the sweet mango chipotle sauce. Chili's Crispy Ribs are available for a limited time only, so hurry in and enjoy a crispy, juicy ribs experience today. Chili's is on the 2nd floor at the Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's, we do ribs like no place else.
Budget hearings continue today at the legislature, with several agencies taking the seat. Land management is first up at 9 o'clock with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, then Department of Parks and Recreation, and then the Guam Regional Transit Authority. The hearings being held at the legislature, the first one starting at 9 o'clock this morning. A genuine mistake, that's what Senator Luis Muña calls it after filing an unemployment claim with the Department of Labor, later withdrawing that claim after she learned that she'd been denied. Muña left out her salary of $55,000 as a senator, and that made her ineligible to get financial aid, even after losing all of her income as a musician and a gym instructor during the COVID-19 shutdown. She says it's a genuine mistake when asked by the Guam Daily Post, and said that she filed her unemployment benefit application because she lost the income that she had been receiving through her self-employment service business license. Several days later, she learned that she also was supposed to declare other sources of income as a senator, she says, and the Department of Labor, meanwhile, is issuing reminders on the common mistakes that people make in applying for pandemic unemployment assistance. And one of those is they remind people that you have to include all sources of income. They also remind filers of all potential opportunities for fraud. As of Monday, 28,000 displaced workers have filed unemployment claims with the Department of Labor. And a dozen potential candidates rushed to file their papers on Monday, but today's the deadline for them to file their paperwork for the election that's coming up in August. That's the primary election. Delegate Robert Underwood is one incumbent who will vie for his seat that he held previously. He says that he will file his candidacy at 10 o'clock this morning. He'll be challenging incumbent Delegate Mike Sinicolas on the Democrat side. On the Republican side, only Will Castro's filed for the congressional delegate seat. Meanwhile, in the senatorial race, neither the Democrats or the Republicans have a complete slate of 15 members for the primary election ballot. And those are your top stories.
So no primary. Save some money. If we don't have 15, we don't have 15.
Yeah.
And just take all 15, whatever numbers that we've got, and go straight to the general election. In fact, let's have the general election now. Let's just if we don't need to have the primary, and we already know what it's going to end up being, we just need, and you know, the people are going to say, well, what about the race between Robert and Mike? Just junk and poll. Just junk and poll for the job and see what happens, and then we can go straight to the general, and then we don't have to put up with any of the rest of the nonsense. Actually, it looks like there's some interesting races going to take place on the mayoral side as well. We'll take a look.
There's a bunch of contenders.
Absolutely. Did you get a note about Ernie Charteloff? I guess he fell ill. Something on the Republican chat, and they're asking for prayers. Don't know too much about it, but if that's your mayor,
on that chat.
Sorry.
It's okay. I would have left anyway.
I've been leaving chats. I've been leaving chats.
Me too.
There was one I left yesterday. Somebody admonished me for making a comment. Screw it, I'm leaving. So that's one less person on Tina Rose Muña Barnes's chat room that they don't have to worry about. So I got that one. There was another group. I didn't even know I was on it until I started getting messages from like, excuse me, I don't know. I'll buy. It's like 8,000 people in this chat room, and as you can imagine, the bigger it is, the more the likelihood that it's going to go ding at 3:00 in the morning. So I'm out of that one, and then who's the other one? There's another one. It's one of the village groups, and it was one of those things where somebody kept putting up messages that were just flat out wrong about Corona-19. And yeah, rather than try to correct everybody every day on this stuff, I just said, screw it, I'm leaving this one too. And that's all there is to it. And maybe that will help me sleep better at night. 8:14 in the morning, partly cloudy with isolated showers and thunderstorms today. Winds from the east up to about 15 miles an hour. Expected daytime highs today, 89 degrees. For tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers and T-storms. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows are going to feel like about 80. Heat index today 94, so expect some heat. Also told that there might be some rain falling up in the Dededo and Jigo area at this time, so drive to the conditions. Sunrise this morning was 5:57, not very early, and it's getting closer and closer to 6 o'clock. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:51, very, very late. So get out there and you got extra time to play, but the problem is it's going to be extra time to play in the unrelenting heat of the day. So keep that in mind. 8:15 already. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont, or call 646-1463.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
What? Is it time for me to talk? 8:16 in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. Is that fact? Yes. APL Global Presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Mescla. Awesome people over at that shop. I'm sure you know. And they're open in the downtown. The main branch of Mescla in Agutya is now open and waiting for you. They're getting lunchtime ready. And if you don't know what you're going to be ordering, you go check out Mescla Guam and look around for them on the Facebook side. Open for dine-in, takeout, and delivery Monday to Saturday, 11 until 2, 5 to 9. Call them at 479-2652. You should make reservations because they busy up in there, number one. And number two, we're also at 50% occupancy, so even faster to get to busy up. Get your Mescla fix today.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Some fascinating video coming in. There's work being done at Anderson Air Force Base. There is a big exercise that is taking place, and I've got video of some of the exercise. I haven't listened to the audio completely, but what you are seeing, if you're watching on Facebook Live, is we got a couple of airplanes that are coming in low in the pattern here, and you can see them going up over the tarmac, and eventually. It seems to be taking an awful long time to get to that point. Hold on a second. You will see as it makes this glamour pass in front of the camera. Let me scooch out. Hey! This dropping raisins like a rabbit pooing. Wait a second. No, wow. That's there's guys that are coming out of the backs of those airplanes. They're jumping out of them.
Airborne.
That looks like a low altitude opening to me, but not. Yeah, I don't know if that's low altitude. But I personally, I would think I'd like the airplane to be up a little bit higher. But so it's opening up, and it is. We're apparently being invaded. Is the thing.
Red Dawn.
Yeah, red. That's exactly what I was looking at. That's exactly what I thought as I was looking looking over this video. It is. I'm not going to say it's viral, but it seems to be spreading fast. I've now received this video from something on the order of about 7 people. So if I'm getting it, then everybody else is getting it. And we've got these guys coming down in parachutes, making their landing at Anderson Air Force Base. Might be some more of that kind of thing. It will and look and sound like an air show is going on up there while they're doing this exercise. For most people, it might just be a problem getting out of certain roads up in Gigo that connect up with the back road. So we've got some delays going into there, but absolutely cool stuff to see these young men and women do something like jumping out of, quote, perfectly good airplane. Huh? Would you do that?
No, I've never, and I will not.
It's just no, I will not. Mana.
I have a hard time even going on my roof or stepping out on a balcony. I'm definitely afraid. No.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Absolutely not.
So they're occasional listeners, the guys over at the skydiving company, and so let me do them a favor. They're looking Skydive Guam. is seeking an experienced, creative, and enthusiastic sales and marketing professional to join our management team. Hi, my name is Ray. I am a marketing professional. I've been in and out of marketing, all integrated with everything that I've done here in my radio career. But I imagine that if I was to apply for this job, the guy sitting across the desk, after we're doing with the interview, say, okay, well, now we're going to take you up in the sky and make you fall out of the airplane. We're going to do a tandem jump. Are you down? If it came down to would you do it if it meant your job? Otherwise, you meet all of our qualifications. Self-starter, energetic, positive attitude, organized, able to work independently, multilingual. I can flirt in Korean and Japanese, yeah. Ability to create big picture marketing plans to promote events and generate interest in tandem skydiving experience. You meet all of those qualifications with the guys over at Skydive Guam. And then they say, okay, time to go on the airplane. Could you do it? Would you do it for a job? Would you do it just this one time for the job?
I'd do it for $5 million.
Me too.
You would do, yeah.
I could use that money.
I don't think it's paying
But
that
not
much.
the job. Not the job. I don't want the job. I just want the $5 million. I'd
Doesn't
do it for $5 million.
Ricky Woodall is the guy that is online with us, and I don't know. I don't know that that's the going rate for something like that. We can find out certainly, but I don't hold out too much that's going to be the plan. 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning. My very close Daphne Shivers, who's online from the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Hey, Daph, how you doing there?
Hi, Ray. We're doing well. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Listen, we thought we'd get you yesterday, but things got busy around here, so I missed the opportunity. But I wanted to get a debrief from you on how things went on Saturday. I was told you still had some congestion issues there.
Yeah, we did have some issues with regards to congestion, and we had to let people know. At some point, we had to cut the line, and we wouldn't be able to service everyone. But I think 2 Saturdays ago when we were here, we actually left. Our team left like past 7. I was like at the stoplight right over here by Conwood or Lead Electric at like 7:28 p.m. So we left at 2 Saturdays ago. We left at 7:28. This past time, we were able to leave a little bit after 4, and I think we serviced approximately the same number of people. I'm still waiting for the final count on that. But so in terms of us being a little bit more efficient, we were able to be. But of course, the fact that we had to turn away people, that's something that we don't like to do, and we don't want to have to do. So going forward, and we'll be announcing this. We're still working to finalize our plan on it, but we're going to be just carving out a certain population of the people who have licenses, and in particular, we're going to be focusing first on those individuals who have expired driver's licenses. And again, we'll be issuing a release on this perhaps at the latest tomorrow morning, but we're going to try it today. So again, we're going to be just kind of carving out a portion of our population so that we don't have to be turning away people. Of course, we want to serve as many people as we can, but when I arrived at our office on Saturday morning, and it was like not even 7 yet, we had lines of people around our building, and of course we know, again, our team, we just want to try to serve our people, and we're trying our best, but I do think
I'm just worried that this is going to be the new normal, and with everything that has taken place, it's one of those things that's just almost impossible to catch up on, and the slip that you're trying to take care of with the Saturdays is just it's just going to be compounded until forever.
Well, there's a few things that have happened, and as you know, Ray, we did have a bit of an issue with regards to our online appointment scheduling, which didn't allow. There was like a 90-day limitation. So I actually log in online myself to check, but we've been working with our vendor, and that limitation has been removed. So people can actually log in online at GuamTax.com. You'll find our little scheduling link on the right mid part of the page. So, head toward the right, scroll down a little bit, and you'll find it there. There is no more that 90-day limitation. So there are actually appointment windows that have opened up. Yesterday I did check, and of course the first appointment was probably like September 28th. But, I think that for those people who are able to get appointments, I would really recommend people get online now and get appointments.
Yeah.
And it's going to be challenging. But, one thing that we did try to do, and just
tell Auntie Lou to send more people down. You just need people to administer, test, and take pictures.
Well, what we did do that was different, which helped us to be a little bit more efficient in this past week, is we separated those individuals who came for services that didn't require any pictures, which is for scheduling of the exams, picking up permits, things like that. We separated that from the individuals who wanted to get driver's licenses. And so we actually had separate stations for that. And again, I think that really helped to make things more efficient. And we're going to continue to try to improve on this. Of course, like I mentioned, we're not perfect. We're just, trying to adjust every day. So that way we can, make sure that we serve our people. And, I think across the nation, this is an issue that people are running into where they're not able to, get their licenses renewed.
Well, in some places, they're just telling everybody your license, regardless of what the number is, everybody will know your license is still, you didn't change.
Yes.
You're still the same human being. So just because the card itself may have expired doesn't mean that, and maybe there ought to be a long-term view. Why do they expire? I mean, as driver's license go, I'm not retested every 5 years. Why bother making it expire? Give me a $50. I'll pay you $50 if I never have to go back.
Well, when we have thought about, moving from 3 and 5 years to something like a longer term, and perhaps maybe something like Passport, which is like a 10-year. That may be something. Of course, people do change, and it's important that we do get updated information.
Well, we just get better looking as we age, Daff.
Only you, I think, Ray, for sure. I think only you and perhaps Mana. I don't know.
Mana's making a face.
Please don't feed the ego. It's really hard enough to fit into this small room already with this big head.
Oh, my gosh. So anyway, you know what?
It's true. I mean it.
Okay. No more comments about being good looking. Anyway. So, but I love you guys. That's why. So
it's hot
anyway,
in here.
I think I'm turning red. Anyway, so to go back to it, we have already begun to discuss, moving toward 10-year instead of having a 3 and 5 year renewal. That's something that we've talked about, and we're going to continue to work on those things. Of course, you know what? We're working on so many different things all at one time. I think the most urgent thing is just to make sure that the people who need their licenses and their identification, that they're able to get it. And I do have to say, thank you for everybody that was able to come out and get service, and even for those that came out and were not able to get service. I know, again, for their patients, because we're continuing to try to serve the best we can. We're hoping that, of course, being able to carve out a portion of our population is going to be helpful. And then again, we'll just focus on those people that have expired licenses. Yeah. And I think that, again, the removal of the 90-day limitation is going to be helpful.
That'll be a big deal. Now, and you said the vendor got that taken care of. I want to say Dave Duenas had commented yesterday that he had tried to get a date, but it wasn't. It was still in that lockout mode now. But we'll encourage everybody, if you've seen the same thing, the vendor has gotten that handled, and go back in there and make an appointment. It won't be any time soon, because this is like doing the thing at the doctor's office. So be prepared for late September, maybe October, maybe November, with everybody doing it. But if you want to get in front of that, go ahead and make the appointment. But still show up Saturday for whatever it is that you got to do.
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to ask, because everybody is going to ask me to ask, how are we doing on 2019 returns?
One of the things that we were asked about, or we do get asked about, of course, is refunds. And, if you go to we're consistently and constantly processing returns. Now, if you go to our website, guamtax.com, we actually have two websites, or myguamtax.com, you'll find this little golden box in the kind of the upper left portion of the page, and it'll tell you where we are in terms of in terms of payment, not processing. But as of June 22, we had actually mailed out, or Treasurer Guam did mail out about 1,100 tax refund checks, and so when those equal about 4.89 million. So that's what has happened in this week, and every week or every time we do process, we make sure that we put those, we update our status so that people are, they have some, they have a resource, a place to go where they can tell where we are in terms of payment. But of course, the first couple days, I think we started receiving 2019 returns in January 27th.
Right.
So of course, the first couple of days, as you know, those are usually like the highest in terms of people kind of coming in, the highest volume.
Because that's the only reason why you file that early is if you're expecting a big refund. Otherwise, we'll wait until April the 16th or into July. We're just a couple of weeks now away from what the new filing deadline is for 2019.
Right, July 15th is this. It's really just, of course, it's an anomaly, right? The Treasury and IRS recognized the need to move it because of this public health emergency. So we follow, and of course, July 15th is the date for filing. Of course, here for Guam residents.
Okay.
And
okay, so the last thing I want to ask is the EIPs. You got the EIPs that are going out, and another batch is cleared, right?
Right. So we did just do an EIP media release yesterday. I'm thinking the release is not yet on our website, but it was actually issued. And if you haven't gotten a copy of it, I'll go ahead and forward it to you. But we did process and mail. We processed last week, Thursday, all of it over 1,000 payments. And those went out already. They were transmitted to Treasurer Guam and should have already gone out. And that was about $1.695 million. Every week, we're continuing to make payments. Of course, we want to make sure, that we continue to take care of our people and that we get out as many as we can. And we want people to know, it's a priority to get these out. And it's important, of course, Ray, and that it's been very hugely important to me personally to make sure that we pay our people. I think, most especially in this time, we want to.
Oh yeah, if there's funds available, get those processed as quickly as possible. Are you seeing? And I don't know, how closely you pay attention or whether you can track in real time. But what have you been seeing with regard to withholding tax deposits? What are you seeing with regard to business privilege taxes that are coming into the Department of Revenue and Taxation? Have you seen a significant downturn and a downtrend? Was it down? Did it go back up? What is your data telling you?
Well, that's something I would have to get back to you on. But, with regards to withholding, of course, withholding is based on or is related to wages.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a period where there aren't any wages or where there's an issue with, wages, then that will also impact. And the other piece of it is
send me whatever you've got that's current that you haven't sent to Lester yet. I mean, he's off island now anyway, right?
Well, we work together on the BBMR, DOA, and Rev and Tax have to work together on that consolidated revenue and expenditure report. So if you don't have the most recent one, then we'll definitely work.
Yeah, bounce me one. But do me a favor, bounce it for me, and then highlight, put a circle around the important stuff, because I've gotten my hands on those CRERs, and you got to be GovGuam bureaucraties to understand what are the important numbers to look out for in those things, because it all looks like they ought to be pointing in the same direction, and then they never do. Anyway, Daph, it's always fun talking with you.
Thank you again, Ray, and thanks, Mana. Have a great day.
Okie dokie. I'll talk to you pretty soon. 888-825-5888-TALK. And I want to say, was it Shauna, Tattoo Shauna, that says, I'd pay $100 just to never have to go back in for renewals. $100 if I can get me a 20-year, because we don't change all that much. I mean, we all still look like we just graduated from high school, right? Except for the beard?
Except for the beard.
Yeah, but I mean, so I would go in. I'd be happy to go in and take a new picture whatever. Can I pop the collar when I take the picture? I'll take the picture, and that will be the one that I use on my driver's license for the next 10 years. It's like the passport is a 10-year passport. I don't have to talk to anybody about that until 2026.
It's almost like those campaign signs when you see people use the same photo from 10 years ago.
Oh, my God. Update.
I would totally.
Update. There's so many. Go call Ismail. Right-click on Ismail's name and get an appointment with his wife, and she'll do a new portrait for you. And ladies, she has all of the hottest filters. She knows how to use the filters to slim you down, to get smooth out the face, do all of that stuff, and unkeeten your eyes if they are. So she's got very, very good.
You know what causes that?
No, some of these people they're
the heavy eyelashes. When they put on those eyelashes, it makes their eyes go like.
Real Joe, assignment time. Assignment time.
Whoa.
Okay, so there's we often talk about the tone deafness of our representatives. Right?
Yes.
So we just went through that deal over at the legislature where, never mind all of the other problems that we've got in this town, we've got to get more hiking signs out there. We got to get more literature for riptides, right? Those evil riptides. So there's another one that I'm told Tinkerbell put out. There's a resolution, right?
No.
There's a resolution that they are talking about over at the legislature, and I think they're supposed to be talking about it today. So never mind.
Oh, no, that one was postponed.
What is 30,000? Never mind, 30,000 people that are clawing for some kind of work, some kind of hope, a sign of light from their government that there might be an end to this veil of tears, this suffering that people are in the midst of, lining up for food when they can, and hustling phone calls to Daphne and people at the Department of Education to find out when there's money coming out or when we're going to be able to do another drive-through, something like that. And there's apparently a resolution in light of all of today's just bring tear to your eyes problems. The resolution is something to do with calling on the Navy not to run sonar because it keeps the whales awake at night.
Oh, there you go.
Right? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
No.
I heard about it.
You heard about it, right?
It's
all this other crap that's
sea life right now.
It's all of this other stuff that's going on, and we're gonna have to worry about. Oh, but the whales cannot sleep because the Navy has got their sonar on all the time. So the big ships don't run into our island. That's one of the reasons. So they don't run into each other. What do you want the sailors to die? You just.
They're looking for enemies too with that
Who's
sonar.
Tinkerbell? Oh.
There's a Tinkerbell in every version of the legislature.
Yes, there is.
There is a Tinkerbell somewhere. And if you don't know who it is, then it's probably you. 8:36.
Well, we have a whole body of Tinkerbells these
Absolutely.
days.
Hashtag dumbest bunch ever. Where are we? I wanted to talk about that, and I'm sure there were a couple of other things that I wanted to talk. You're not going anywhere.
You were going to play something.
I was going to play. Thanks for reminding me. I was going to play. I played that video. I wanted to get this on the air. It's not that one either. This is the one that you wanted me to play.
Which one?
The one where they're eating different ingredients.
Yeah.
It's got a disclaimer. It's got to be that good. What is she eating? Hand sanitizer? Is that what's happening in there? No. So this is the one I wanted to play. So the lady's name.
They're cakes. What you were going to play was they're all little cakes. So she has one little cake in the form of a Lysol hand sanitizer.
I see.
Wipes and then the hand sanitizer.
But it's a cake. She's eating that, and that's why the disclaimers don't.
But I don't like watching people eat, so I'm not down to watch that to go to sleep.
So this woman, her name is Inka Magnaye, and she is the voice of Philippine Airlines. If you've ever been in the lobby, if you've ever been on the plane, and you hear the voice and you go, oh my God, that is stunning. There's actually a stunning woman that's doing the thing. She's a voiceover artist in the Philippines, and whenever there's a big deal and they need somebody off stage to say, ladies and gentlemen, now real Joe Cruz. She is the one that does that. Now she's also all over Instagram and Facebook. So this one here is called 1 Minute of Calm to Ease Your Mind, and I believe that she does this in the ASMR delivery. And if you're wondering what that's all about, well, let's see how relaxed you are in 60 seconds.
Self-care check. Hi. I just wanted to let you know that it's okay if you're not feeling okay. It's normal to feel overwhelmed sometimes. And if you feel like you need to take a break, then you should. Have you had a glass of water? Have you eaten something? Maybe you need to sit down, take a few seconds just for yourself, and breathe. Why don't we do that now? Inhale. And then exhale. That's good. Just keep doing that and keep telling yourself that it's going to be okay, because it will always be okay. It really will. So take it easy.
Inka is her name. INKA, because I know the way certain guys are, and they're going, spell it, Ray. I need to know how to
Good grammar and spelling are important.
Okay, my turn. Play Hodge Twins.
That's this one, right?
No, not that one. The Hodge Twins, the conservative twins that are on.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
I love them.
My gosh,
yeah.
me too.
Yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking. I think they might not be radio friendly sometimes.
No, they're not.
888-8255. Linda is on the line. She says now you're in line right now for what?
Oh, for the COVID-19 testing in Manila. Anyway, you won't believe the line. It goes down whatever Route 10, then it turns like going to GCC. We're at GCC. That's how long the line is. Cars.
For the COVID test? I think because it's free, right? That's what the big deal. And no, I'm serious. It's free, no questions asked, and you just go in and you get the test and figure out whether you got it or not. Are you there? I think she got it. Just killed her.
She was there.
I know it. All right. So the point though that she is making is there's a line for the COVID-19 testing, and it is a long line that's taken place, and it has wrapped itself all the way around the Manila area. So be on the lookout for that. As I said, I believe that this is one of those tests where it's just you drive up and enjoy yourself all day. Stick something that is about a yard long, and it goes most of the way into your nose, into your navel cavity, and they scrape something that I'm told, I haven't had this test, but they scrape something in the back of your eyeball is where it eventually gets to, because that's where COVID is.
Why would anybody want to get in that line and get a test?
They do both sides.
What?
Your left and right nostril.
Right eye.
No.
Behind your left and right eye.
I don't know. Because there's two sides of the
Q-tip. You'd have to hold me down. I mean, I'm sorry, you're not sticking that in my nose, and I'm not going to let you do it twice.
Oh.
I don't. There's got to be another way. Aren't there other parts of your body where they've Well, yes, there is.
There is.
There is. Some people might like that. It's whole websites for people that like that kind of thing, right? So I'm afraid. No, I'm not. Here's the thing. Do I have it? Do I want to know? I don't. I
would like to know if you have it, because you're sitting over there. And
98% of the people that get tested will fail the test, and it's a very, very small number of people that are passing. And so you go, no, Raymond. They put out the notice. They had 7 total new confirmed cases of coronavirus. Why aren't you afraid, Raymond? Why are you such a denier, Raymond? It's because it's 7 cases out of 1,300, and I don't do the mathematics on this. 1,300 and almost 80 tests that they've done in the last 4 days. What do you want me to? Yeah, okay. There's in the back of the Pacific Daily News. There's a most recent volunteer, somebody that decided this would be a good time to go and get a test. Look at that. You see that? He's crying. He's about to cry. That's not tears of joy. That's not, oh, I just got my stimulus check. Right? He's getting something else to me. I'm telling you, they're sticking that thing all the way into the back of his head, and then it curves up and it pokes your eyeball. And that's where the coronavirus is hiding out in your body, and that's why they've got to do it that way. But there's 1,300, almost 1,400 tests that were conducted in the last 4 days. And I'm going to put it this way. Of all of them, they only got 7 positives. They only got 7 positives. So please don't freak out about these numbers. They've conducted more tests in the last 4 days than they did all of April. That's the perspective that you need to have. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people are looking at those numbers. I don't think anybody is looking deep into some of these numbers. We see 7 and automatically twitch. Now, here's the other thing. So these people tested positive for coronavirus. Is it active? Or is it just the clingy coronavirus that is still in their body because it cleared out of them back in January, February? And the answer is we don't know. So we got a thing in there. We're going to keep an eye on it for 14 days and then see what happens. And we'll see what happens with him. But we still have not seen any fatalities since April the 12th. So allow me to, again, ask the question, what's the emergency? What is the emergency? You go, but Ray, how many people do we have in the hospital? Denier, Mr. Denier, man. You know how many people we have in the hospital with the coronavirus? 0. Again, it's 0. There was a guy that was in for a little bit, and apparently he said, I'm not sick. I'm really not dying. I'm going home. Goodbye. You can watch me. I'll pee in a cup for you every day if you want me to. But that's long and short of it. So that's the deal, guys. Is take a look at the numbers and maybe if you want to twitch a little bit, go ahead and adjust your mask. Is there a rule about the mask though? Because I thought I'd seen there was a guy yesterday. I was looking at him.
Don't wear beige. Don't wear beige.
Got it. 8:44 in the morning. Montesilva's got our last look at headlines coming your way in just a moment. Stay there.
As we emerge from the effects of the global pandemic, Security Title is rethinking how to best serve our customers. With our houses clean and closets reorganized, here's a reminder to take a look at the title to your house and other real estate. Is your trust in order? Is it time to update your wills? Do you have the best interest rate available on your home? As we get back to work, there's no better time to revisit your most valuable asset, your property. Call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his smile team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his smile team.
They make smiles happen.
Are you okay? Did you breathe? It's always fun. You ought to do that.
She does have a nice voice.
It's got nice at everything, right?
Yeah.
So, but the next time you're with your significant other, just go up, get your nose right up to the ear, and go. You ever see dogs do that with like a turd? They get there and it's. You think one sniff would be enough. You'd think one, and then they'd be, okay, got it. But no. Coming up in a second, we'll take a look at the line. Cozendo sent me a picture of the line for the COVID-19 testing. It is possible that there's people that just saw the line and thought maybe they're giving away some free food. Is this where I go for the chicken in a can that Ray Gibson is always talking about, and the navy beans and the salmon? Is this the place for it? This place they're going to stick it in, and there's an explanation. I'll get to you in a second, Mana. There's an explanation. DT says it's both nostrils because it's COVID, not monovid. So they have to test both of it because one in here, one in there is COVID. And so she D says, got tested, scored 64. Congratulations. Not quite high enough. You've got to have a 70 or above in order to move on to the champion stage. It is now 8:46 in the morning and time for the 8:30 news with Montesilva Tyron.
You might have been anxiously awaiting the lifting of the public health emergency, but it'll be at least another month. The governor extended the public health emergency until July 30th. She did that citing the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. Yesterday, public health counted 7 new cases. To date, there have been 255 confirmed cases. You should know by tomorrow how the new school year will play out. The Department of Education will be holding a press conference to discuss their plans. They will meet with the Board of Education to get their approval today. And a group of senators have introduced legislation that would protect public health funds from unauthorized expenditures. Minority Leader Senator Tello Taitagui and Senators Therese Chalayi, James Moylan, and Jocelyn Augustine all introduced Bill 371 that would restrict Adelup from spending the general fund revenues without legislative approvals. And budget hearings continue today with several agencies taking the seat. Land Management first up at 9 o'clock. They'll be followed by the Department of Parks and Recreation and the Guam Regional Transit Authority this afternoon. And those are your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the paper or log on to their website at postguam.com.
There's food on the front door. Phil just brought by my Phil, not yours. Tied a bag of soups.
Have a Phil?
I have a Phil. from Venue. Says, tied a bag of soups on your front door.
Thanks, Phil.
3 cups for you and your team. He's already got
Yeah,
Will Jones.
he
just got up.
bolted. You said free food, and he's...
Yeah. Good job. Good job. All right. Well, I was going to say, Joe, go get the chow.
That's so
but apparently
sweet
we
of
don't
you,
have
Phil.
to.
Thank you.
And that's okay. Let me put this video up on the screen here. This is from Cosendo's front windshield. And that lady Linda was talking about being in a line. This is the line that they are talking about here. And you can make out various parts of the Mangilau area. And, yeah, it looks like there's a whole bunch of people in a never-ending line trying to get their coronavirus test. The testing is important. I want people to get tested. I want you to be able to determine whether or not you've got something to worry about and be able to make some decisions with your life. We're not even halfway through this video. Look at that line of traffic with everybody backed up out in the Mangilau area. Watch out for that, guys. If you're in the area, expect some delays or expect to have to drive on the inside lane, if you will, to make it through. At any rate, now I want you to get tested, but let's understand that the more tests that we do, the more hits we are going to get. It ain't going to be a lot because the current ratio is 2%. As for, what is it, every 100 people that we test, we might get 2 people that are positive for coronavirus and not even know whether they're active or not. They categorize those on the reports as stable. That's all it says. It's 8:49 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Go to the nearest iConnect. There's one at the Micronesia Mall. I'd be happy to talk to you through the mask or call them on the phone. You can take off the mask and actually understand people at 888-8888.
As we stand up to coronavirus by standing back with social distancing, Bank Pacific reminds you that you can come to the bank without going to the bank. Use many of our other delivery platforms like online banking at bankpacific.com, accessing cash at our ATMs, shopping with our debit cards. For businesses, we have secure cash and check drop windows, and we are employing a new smarter mobile app with remote deposit capture in the next few weeks. We're all in this together, and together we will win. Bank Pacific. Brothers but branches, we place roots. Member FDIC.
10 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. FHP's Urgent Care Center is open for you right now. Let's say, for instance, you went to go get your COVID test because the guy on the radio said it's no charge, and they stuck it too far. They stuck the thing too far, and there's a hole in that part of your head now. Where are you going to go for that? It's not bad enough that you're going to die, but I'm sure it hurts like hell. So you go to FHP's Urgent Health Center, and they will take care of it. They'll pull the thing out. So what they do, you see, is they cut a hole right over here. They cut this thing, and then they pull your scalp back. You remember the first time you saw Faces of Death? Mara will remember, I used to have these bumps on my forehead. Right? You remember I used to have these little bumps on my forehead, and I finally went to go, and I always wanted to have them taken off. But my mom said was exactly how it was going to be done. Is they'd cut from behind the ear all the way out, and then they'd make a crease over in the front, and they'd pull my scalp back, and then go after the bumps and shave them down or something like that. And so I just never went to go see anybody. And I finally saw the doctor down in Tamuning by the hospital. And he says, yeah, I'll make a little tiny incision. You'll never even notice it. A little tiny incision in the worry lines that you've already got. Go in there. And they did with like a hammer, ball-peen hammer and a screwdriver. This is medical grade stuff here. And they chipped them out. And the guy, no kidding, the guy comes out with one of these sanders, right? Like a what do you call it?
A grinder?
A grinder.
Yeah.
And sanded the thing down and then put little tiny sutures in it. And that's how they did that. So anyway, FHP Health Center for when it goes too far. Later hours and longer, 8 until 8, Monday through Saturdays, 10 until 6 on Sundays. You need them. They'll be there for you. FHP, Our Island, your clinic. It's all portions of the program also brought to you by the guys that are coming up next.
GPSI Guam is a professional technical services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They are SBA approved, 8A, and Hub Zone certified, providing program and project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. Contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 671-477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Studio time, 8:53 in the morning. Now we'll take a look at the traffic gizmo, because now we got a couple of things that we can look at here. One of them is going to be, and the last time I looked at Big Navy in Sumai, and it looks like it might be just a little bit charging down there. But we can zoom out and see some other congestion points here on Guam. Where is this here? We got the intersection of 10 and 15, and it is so not pretty in that intersection right now. You can see traffic trying to get off of Route 15 onto Route 10, and then we got traffic from over by the school, the church, that's making its way to what I consider to be easily one of the more lunga issues that we've got here on Guam. Let me see if I can scooch in and see what's happening around George Washington and that area here. We got some traffic going into the Bel Air Gardens, this doesn't look very pretty in that part of the island. And earlier we were looking at issues around Anderson Air Force Base, trouble on the back roads, as it were, moving around Gadzanero and then trying to get onto the back gate of Anderson. Oh yeah, it's still kind of ugly. Somebody said that's around Pam Duval area up in the Jigo place. And I think that's about right. From up around the intersection of Gadzanero begins to slow down as you make your way towards the back gate and expect some delays. Yeah, that looks like about a 20-minute wait right there. That looks like COVID-19 getting your test. 20-minute wait. 8:54. That's right now traffic. This is The Point.
Hot donuts with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sweet and savory, it's cooked to order. Get it in a basket or a sandwich. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
That's right. It's here on Guam for a limited time. Get your favorite KFC chicken and donuts in a box meal or shared meal with 10 pieces of dark meat, 3 large sides, and 4 donuts. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Alicia turns 23 years old today. That is Alicia Kinata, who has got birthday. Thanks very much for sending that in on the DMs. Happy to do that for you. And I hope she has a very, very happy birthday. On screen right now on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and thepoint.gu. And I know a lot of people like to watch on Facebook Live. I know that there's a lot, believe it or not, sometimes more people watching on YouTube Live. And it might be for a couple of reasons. Might be, video clarity. And the other part is anonymity. Anonymity. I love the Ray Gibson show. I don't want him to know, because his ego, huge already, uncontrollable, out of control. And if he knows that he's got this kind of viewership, then it's over from Magundus. So I know you haven't heard that phrase in a long time. It's over for my goodness. On screen right now, and one of my favorite features is being able to take memes from you and putting them on the air. And I think this one came from Real Joe Cruz, right? You find this out in the world somewhere?
I did.
Yeah, it says, we are limping towards eventual herd immunity. We're just doing it with the maximum amount of petty tyranny, hypocrisy, stupidity, anxiety, and economic pain, courtesy of our feckless political class. Has there ever been a greater division on Guam? Ponder this. Really, think about this. Has it ever been in such stark contrast where we have this political class? We've got the winners, huh? And you're going to go, well, by winners, do you mean just the insiders? No, I'm everybody that somehow or another won the GovGuam lottery. The paycheck's still coming in. You don't get the PUAs. You don't have to worry about your shop getting the PPPs. I know for some of you, look, it's just a job. It just happens to be with the government. And it's not, you're not the ones that I think people are mad at. I think there's a whole other class of people that have been the haves for so long. And they're the ones going, wait a second, who made that one essential? Why is that job so important that you've got to be there and complain about double pay? It's those guys, I think, that rankle the rest of the population that has been doing without for a long, long time. One of the first calls that we made earlier today was to Phil Flores over at Bank Pacific, and I'm sure that the sentiments that he gave me will be echoed by other bankers all over the island. A lot of people 3 months ago went to the banks and said, I am having a hard time. I'm not going to be able to cover the mortgage hole because my hours got reduced by half. I still got to buy groceries, still got to keep the lights on in the house. And so it's going to be a little bit slow for the next couple of months. And virtually every banker on Guam said, no problem, I got you. I got you. You pay me what you can, and it's going to be July, and we'll get together and figure out how you're going to get caught up. Well, here it is, July, in a couple of days, in a couple of minutes, and the governor has continued this pandemic. She's continued the public health emergency. And in continuing the public health emergency, there has not been an increase in occupancy, as an example. I'd like to get Home Depot in particular, Payless, and every other shop that I've had to stand outside with my stupid mask on. Can we get to 100%? Really? If everybody is already practicing social distancing, if everybody is wearing their mask inside, then what's the damage to going to 100% in a bunch of places, in a bunch of these essential locations, and even non-essential locations? I mean, I'm sitting in a restaurant. They've already moved everybody 6 feet away from each other, and you can still get a crowd in there. What difference does it make whether we've got 100% occupancy or 50% occupancy? And I'll give it to you like this. I was at a place last night, and Jim and I were in there solving the world's problems, and the entire time, I don't know that they had, and they're normally super busy. They are normally super busy. In the entire time that we were in there shooting the bull, they might have had as many as 8 customers total, maybe 9, 10 heads the entire night. Everybody goes in, they eat, grab a couple of drinks, and then split. That's it. But the place virtually empty for the rest of the time. Businesses aren't going to be able to survive if it keeps going at this rate. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG. Hug on you. This is The Point.
Cases going up. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Florida continues to be a hotspot for a new outbreak of cases of COVID-19.
Florida's Department of Health says there were about 5,400 positive coronavirus test results for Sunday, which is down from Saturday's more than 8,400. But tests were performed on fewer than half the amount of people, and that means the daily positive rate ticked up nearly 1.5%. The higher numbers in the past 10 days are prompting local leaders to enact protective measures. Beaches from West Palm to the Florida Keys will be closed for the July 4th weekend. In Broward County, Florida, Evan Brown, Fox News.
This as the city of Jacksonville, where the Republican National Convention is to be held in August, has ordered the wearing of face coverings in public. California also seeing a rise in cases with over 2,900 new infections reported in Los Angeles County. Governor Gavin Newsom changing his reopening strategy.
We moved forward to require 6 additional counties to, for example, toggle back and use that dimmer switch by closing down bars in order to slow the spread of the virus. We also recommended yesterday, Sunday, that 8 other counties consider doing the same.
Texas has also seen a rapid rise in cases. The White House will brief several Democratic lawmakers on reports that Russia offered Taliban-backed militants bounties for killing American troops in Afghanistan. An aide to Steny Hoyer, the number 2 Democrat in the House, says the briefing will take place tomorrow morning. Court appearances today for the 4 former Minneapolis police officers charged in the death of George Floyd. Only Derek Chauvin, who was seen on video kneeling on George Floyd's neck, appeared via video from prison. The 4 will be tried next March, and the judge warning those involved in the trial to limit their public comments. America is listening to Fox News.
Off a date, this is Carl from APL Guam.
Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future. Whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community, our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
News.
2 police officers in Tulsa, Oklahoma shot after an early morning traffic stop.
Police have taken David Ware into custody after he had been on the run for several hours. Police say he shot the 2 officers whose names have not been made public. The officers were taken to hospitals in critical condition to undergo surgery. Ware was apparently arrested blocks away from the shooting scene. Police have not said whether he surrendered without incident. According to court records, he faces 2 counts of shooting with intent to kill and illegal firearm possession. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Leaders of the Democratic Party in Orange County, California, pushing to drop John Wayne's name, likeness, and statue from the county's airport because of comments he made in a 1971 interview they call racist and bigoted. Orange County Supervisor Don Wagner told the LA Times he had just heard about the resolution and was unaware of its wording or merit. A credit card company offering an incentive to get people to patronize small businesses.
American Express cardholders being offered a perk to encourage spending at mom and pop stores devastated by the pandemic. It's up to $50 in credit, and it works like this. Effective immediately, cardholders who spend at least $10 at a small business will get a $5 credit back. They can do this a total of 10 times through September 20th at places including independently owned restaurants. American Express research finding 62% of small businesses need to see a return of consumer spending by the end of the year to stay afloat. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
AMC Theaters, the nation's largest movie theater chain, pushing back its plan to begin reopening by 2 weeks, saying about 450 theaters would open July 30th and the remaining 150 the following week. The change coming after the theatrical release of Mulan and Tenet were pushed back to dates in August. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
As we stand up to coronavirus by standing back with social distancing, Bank Pacific reminds you that you can come to the bank without going to the bank. Use many of our other delivery platforms like online banking at bankpacific.com, accessing cash at our ATMs, shopping with our debit cards. For businesses, we have secure cash and check drop windows, and we are employing a new smarter mobile app with remote deposit capture in the next few weeks. We're all in this together, and together we will win. Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, we place roots. Member FDIC.
GPSI Guam is a professional technical services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're SBA approved, 8A, and Hub Zone certified, providing program and project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. Contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 671-477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
I'm sorry. The real Joe said Chili's is coming up. You can do with what you will with that line. I'm not going anywhere near it. I'm not touching that. So you know what I had yesterday? You know what I had? It's Ronnie's, by the way, it's Ronnie's D'Onaldo's dad's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
I think it's Rolando. Is that the name? Ronnie, is that his name? Anyway, so I went yesterday and sampled the crispy ribs over at Chili's. It's a surprise, but I'll tell you that we filmed it. You're familiar with the mukbangs, right?
No.
What?
What is that?
Okay, you ever see the videos on Facebook? It is usually, an attractive Chinese girl or attractive Korean girl stuffing her face.
Oh, yeah.
Right, that's a mukbang.
Okay.
That's what that is. There's an actual thing that it's called. And so, it's watching somebody sample food. So that's the mukbang. So we, straight up Jed and I went to Chili's and tried the crispy ribs. So there's a little commercial here that Texas size ribs is an appetizer, entree with sides. Dine in or WhatsApp 929-7376 and grab it to go. Chili's on the second floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza. All right, and clean, very, very clean when you get there. Everybody's wiping stuff down. There's hand sanitizers. There's the girls have got these blue rubber gloves on. That's so hot.
It's a fashion statement now.
It reminds me of a couple of first dates.
Oh,
right. But anyway, so they say, okay, you're going to get these crispy ribs, and so you get the crispy ribs. And it's there's a southern fried batter that it goes into. So it's like it would be like a fried chicken, except they're doing it with ribs. So you take a bite out of the rib, and so you get the crunch, and the rib meat comes right off the bone, just slides right off the bone. And it's so good. So and it comes with, there's 3 different dipping sauce. There's a sweet Kentucky flavored sauce. There's another one that's a kind of a spicy mango. Oh,
yeah.
And then there's a sunny avocado. That you can dip these things. Oh, it's So they recommend that you have it. They've created a drink called the Presidente, which is a delight to watch them prepare. But if you don't want that, then I just had it with Blue Moon, and it was So I think, because I'm doing the commercial, right? You can go and try it now. Maybe it's been a while. Tumon Sands Plaza. They've got escalator out in the front, or you can go around the back. And check out some of the stores that they've got in there, and then take the escalator. If they turn it on, they can take the escalator and then go upstairs. But you're gonna love the trip. And Tossie, ask for Tossie. She's the bartender that works over at the place. And do me a favor, tip her and tip everybody else real well when you get to Chili's and try the stuff out. 9 after 9 o'clock in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. Let me see what's happening on the Facebook Lives. Where everybody? Johnny Rosario is there. Half of Johnny, Sheila Bickel, and Jesse Rosario is hanging out with me on the program. Dennis Benzer's online, and as I said, Ronnie Dionaldo is watching the program and spending some time with her dad on his birthday. Hafa Neats, nice to see you. I am guilty with YouTube Live. Understand. There's all kinds of people with different thoughts on whether or not they want to be called out on the radio. And I know that there's several people from the other radio stations, other media companies that are watching, and because their stuff's boring, so they come over here and see what it is that I'm talking about. And I'd love to say that as the king of exciting content, but truth of the matter is, it's the Ray Gibson Show. So the deal is, it needs to be entertaining to me. I've got to be able to pull some kind of entertainment out of the program. There's a standard by which we gauge the shows, and most of the week, I like to think that our programs are running about good 8.5, 9.5 most of the time. We generally will accept as a perfect 10 program any day where I can refer to somebody or something as cuxicated or cuxica. That's a good day. That's a 10. Am I seeing cuxicated moves today? You know how I feel about the extension of the so-called public health emergency. I don't believe we're in an emergent or urgent situation. I think everybody knows what their responsibilities are, and people are going to get sick. The virus is out there. The Kung flu is out in the wild. People are going to get tested. A small percentage of them, it's almost a rounding error, will get coronavirus. We know that for some people it's deadly, so let's protect those people. But for all of the rest of it, everywhere I go, somebody wants to put some hand sanitizer in my hand. I'm almost to the point now where I've gotten it so I take off my ball cap and I put my hand out. Take out the ball cap so I can get my temperature done. I want to say my temperature probed. And I put out my hand for the hand sanitizer because somebody's going to do one or the other or both. I've gotten that. Everywhere I go, restaurants, bars, you know, there's somebody that's doing that kind of thing. So people are getting used to these behavior modifications until whenever. Until this thing dies off, goes away. I think it's already dying off. I think it's already weakening. But that's, you know, me, unscientific, just looking at numbers. 1,383 tests since March. Where are we now? June 26, 27, 28, and 29. That's how many tests that they conducted. So I'm not saying that they're sandbagging the numbers. They are. We'll hold on to these numbers. We'll get samples. We'll get 4 days worth of samples, 1,300 of them, and we'll release them all at once. And it looks like a spike, looks like another surge of 7, but it's not. They conducted, as I said, 2-3 times already, because I want to emphasize the point that they have conducted as many tests in the last 4 days as they conducted all of April. You take all of the tests that they did in April, it's about the same as all of the tests that they did in the last 4 days. Now, if you look at all of the tests that they did in April, did we get more than 7? Oh, yeah, we did. But then that was April, and now you get into May, and now here we are looking at June numbers, and as it's still now falling. The numbers are falling. We're down to 2% positive hits on the coronavirus. But if we sandbag the numbers, then it doesn't look like we're only getting 1 or 2 a day. Get 7. Ooh, scary. Ooh, can't sleep at night. Doom is on us. Harm is in us. What's that song from Poltergeist 2? You know, the one with the old man singing that song as he's walking around the mall? Hello, little girl. 914-888-8255-888-TA. Okay, so I got that story. I hope that we might be able to talk with, who's that guy? Debbie Canetta says, my favorite morning show. I love you, Auntie Deb. Thank you so much. No, I have not seen that, Jennifer. Jennifer Senny with a question. Do you know of anyone denied entry to a restaurant because of their temperature? No. No, I was at Crust last night, and when Jimmy Moylan came in, I told the lady at the door not to let him in. But that's different. I mean, he puts his head out, and he's got, you know, appropriate temperature, and he's able to get into the. I haven't seen anybody turned away for anything, frankly. The business is so anxious to get the cash register ringing. Yeah, come on in. What's the magic number we're supposed to be looking for? Was it 101.1? Star 101. Anybody, you get close to that. Is it 101, but not 0.1? Come on in. Come on in. Is it 0.1? We add the 0.1, and then you got to stay outside. No, Jen, I haven't seen or heard anybody. Can I ask you this question, though? Can I ask somebody, the vast unpaid research department of the Points listenership? There are, I just had the thing in front of me, 179 cases that have been released by the system. 179. Does anybody know any of these 179 people? You would think, right? The island this small, that somebody would know somebody that has got COVID-19. I'm honest now. I want to know if I know somebody that's got COVID-19, because it hasn't come up in any of my WhatsApps. I've got a feed that's 5,000 people deep on Facebook. I have not yet seen or heard from anybody that I know that has coronavirus. So I'm curious about that. If you know somebody that has got coronavirus, could you do me a favor and give them the phone number here, 888-8255, and have them call in? Because I'm dying to know what it was like. What was it for you? How was it? There are some people that for whom they might have gotten it and don't even know they had it. Then there's some people who maybe had to go to the hospital. So where's the in-betweens? Are there in-between stages? I mean, you and I have had the flus in the past, haven't we? I remember once, golly, it was 1992, 93. I had it so bad, my friends, my hair hurt. It was one of those things. It just felt like every inch of my body was inflamed, and everything was achy. And it was one of those that came up. I mean, I was feeling great in the morning, and then by the time it got to be at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, started feeling worse and worse and worse. And by the time I was driving home, I started with the chills. And for me, that's the onset. For me, that's the sign that I know I got the flu is coming in. Is when I get the chills, because I'm basically a chill dude. And I hate that part. I hate that part. And maybe you've had that too, that kind of walking pneumonia, where the air conditioner is not on, you're under the blankets, and you're sweating like a pig. And you're going, when does this end? And if the blanket moves even just that much and opens up just a little tiny crack where the hot air from the room can get in, it's freezing. And you pray to sleep, because you figure if you sleep, maybe your body temperature will come down a little bit, and you'll be able to break the fever. And sometimes it happens, and sometimes you wake up and you're feeling just as bad. So that's what I'm thinking. Who's got it? Chris Bacino says, I know somebody that may have had it in December. This person tested positive for the antibodies. Chris Bacino, both of them on kind of at the same time. Nate Horn saying, nor I don't know anybody that's got it. Debbie Canetta says, nope, not me. I don't know anybody that's ever had the coronavirus. There's 179 people that have been released from the loving care of Linda DeNorsi in the Department of Public Health and Social Services, clinging to the bosom of health, as it were. Who's got it? Who's got some of that? That's what I'm curious about. 888-255-8888-TALK. You know somebody, let me know about it. Now, I got to preface, this is the next phone call is not somebody that's got coronavirus. It ain't anything like that. It's the public auditor, Benjamin Cruz. I'd look at that name whenever I see it like that, BJ. I always got to look at it twice going, who's this guy running for public auditor? Benjamin who? Oh, that's Beej. Hey, Beej. Nino, BJ, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
So do you know anybody that has had coronavirus?
Yes.
Really? Who?
The Hillary.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right. You're not allowed to tell me. Okay, send me a WhatsApp and tell me who it is. I mean, somebody that you know. How did they deal with it? Were they okay? Was it a mild coronavirus, or was it hospitalization coronavirus?
All of the above.
Wow. Okay, definitely. See, now I'm definitely curious. I'll be expecting a WhatsApp from you a little bit later on.
I'm not going to violate HIPAA in a WhatsApp to you, Raymond.
You know, there's something sexy about the way you say violate. I just... So you see, now this is the problem. Is call me in the 9 o'clock hour and I'm all frisky.
See, because the problem is that, you know, it really is. It's become such a boogeyman that it affects people's lives and people's businesses. Yesterday, I went for lunch at Moses, one of the 30 restaurants.
Yeah.
And there were 2 cars in the parking lot at 1 o'clock.
Moses is one of the cleanest places on the island.
I know, and I'm telling you, I went yesterday, and I felt so bad. There was 2 cars in mine when I pulled up for a takeout.
I'd gone to Crust last night, met up with Jerry and Jimmy, and Bobby was going to show up, but he had a root canal or something like that, and we were over at the bar side, and I watched as people were coming by in very, very small handfuls. Like I said, I don't know that they had 10 customers in there the entire time that I was there. And this is, it's Crust on a Monday night. That place it should have been jammed, even with the 50% occupancy. And I think there's just a lot of people holding the money close to each other. But I really think that a great disservice was done with that scarlet letter that went out for those 30 businesses. And I intend to visit every single one of them and spend what little money I've got in some of those locations. So if you're looking for a lunch date or a dinner date pretty soon, let me know.
Okay.
Right. So public auditor. Let's put the public auditor hat on. I've got to say that I've been delighted with some of the reading that I've done on at least the executive summaries. I know you want me to read the whole thing, but the executive summaries have generally told me or reinforced some of the feelings that I already have. The 2019 highlights on the Guam Highway Fund, and up to 33% of those dollars that I would like to be used to fix up and repair Guam's roadways and the guardrails that get chewed up by drunks in the middle of the night, and put down some lines on the road so we can see where we're going at night. 33% of the Guam Highway Fund is being used for other than Guam Highway.
Yes.
That's kind of annoying there. How do we reset that?
Well, I mean, depending on which hat. All right, my hat as public auditor, I put it out there, and I did my auditor did a good graph of showing, so that even if you didn't read, you could see the numbers in the pictures.
Yeah.
That 33%. But in fairness to my previous life as a member of the legislature, sometimes you have to be creative in trying to put the budget together and figure that highways includes policemen, and so providing safety on the roads, and so you provide money to the highway division of GPD so that you can reduce the general fund contribution to GPD and try to fit all the others in.
What are the mayors doing to earn their $5.4 million from the highway fund?
Cleaning.
They what?
They do the cleaning along the side of the road.
Okay, there may be one or two residents of one or two villages that might debate you on that, but I see where you're headed.
I know, but the original agreement was that was supposed to be it.
And those trucks were only supposed to be used for recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. You hit the cynical Ray Gibson this morning. I'm sorry, the frisky one, because it's a 4-day week, 4-day work week. And then we've got the Tourist Attraction Fund, and looking at numbers that showed a different reality from a pre-COVID-19 place and time.
Yes, it's going to be most unfortunate. I left the house this morning and I drove through San Vitores Road, and it's a ghost town. There's no one walking on the road. I can turn right or left anytime I come out of the condo, and I don't have any problems. Sometimes I have to. It used to be that I had to sit in the suicide lane in the middle and wait for traffic to clear so that I could turn.
Go down to Pleasure Island and see the businesses. Not just that the doors are closed, but you can see through the windows that the business is closed. They have moved their inventory out. There's a restaurant down there that, thank God, they've got another place that they can do business, and so they've basically evacuated that part of Tumon and concentrated the rest of their operations over by GPO. It's going to be scary if we don't get a handle on this and start welcoming visitors back to Tumon.
Well, you can welcome them back, but I think everybody has to stop and listen, read the rest of the article. Both articles talk about the fact that the Japanese and the Koreans can be invited to Guam, but read the next sentence. But when they go after they spend 3 days here on Guam, when they go back to Korea or Japan, they have to go back to mandatory 14 days quarantine.
Correct. That's as it is now. Hopefully that will change. And I think we need to.
The thing is that we can have gold-plated invitations to them. They're not going to come down here for 3 days and have to suffer 14 days in quarantine on the way back.
No, I understand completely. So we need to convince them that we're safe. And I think in my mind, that means that we've got to stop sandbagging numbers of tests for 3 or 4 days so we get 7 or 8 instead of the usual 1 or 2. Number one, and stop pushing the panic button every time we get anything, in small double digits when it comes to this.
It's not we that are doing it, Raymond.
No, I know. I get that.
The Japanese and the Korean government, for their own people's safety, have imposed 14-day quarantines for everybody coming into the country, including their own residents.
Right. My point is that that's not going to last forever, and there may be other ways that we can mitigate that risk for passengers as they leave Guam to ensure to their home countries that they haven't picked anything up while they're here, or that Guam is one of those safe destinations. But I agree with the conclusion that you made at the bottom of it. The audit projects fiscal 2020 would be severely impacted by the coronavirus pandemic that began in March and would affect GVB's annual budget. Are there any bonds that are tied to the TAF?
Yes, the hot bond.
Oh boy.
There was a chart there that the one with the scale that says that they paid $7 million and 4.8 went to interest and only 2.2 went to principal.
I think I caught that on the online version of it, but the one I printed out doesn't have that. And the most recent one has to do with Guam Memorial Hospital, and this one is a little bit more critical in my mind because you make very strong points that if things are left alone there, if other actions aren't taken, then they will fail as a going concern, won't be able to meet their obligations, and then what happens?
Well, unfortunately, the hospital has been a going concern for several years now. And the one thing that in some of the stories that have come out, but I put it in my highlights, is that though the census at GMH has gone up 12% from last year to this most current year, or the last 2 years, it's 32% down from 5 years ago.
When you said census, what were you referring to?
That means all the people that come in, inpatient, outpatient, emergency room, urgent care. The number of people that have come into the hospital, though they brag about in their MD&A that their census has gone up 12%. I had the highlights show that, but you have to look at the fact that in 2015 they had 32% more, almost a 9,000. Now that 9,000 drop, 9,000 people.
When did we open up GRMC?
Right about that time.
Yeah. So that would explain the change in their census.
They've not addressed the number of workers there is still, it went up.
It went up
78 this year.
Yep.
As opposed to be going down. And you've seen the articles from GRMC of what they figure a hospital their size should have. And so it's, they're continuing the same operation, though they've actually dropped 32%.
Well, there were some high points in there, and that was the rebasing of money coming from the Fed. I thought that was interesting, but it still isn't covering 100% of our nut for those patients.
No.
Unfortunately.
Most unfortunate, no.
Yeah, and then recent activities, post-COVID time, the posture of the hospital had changed, and their activity with certain other patients and certain other procedures had been put on hold. Is that not also the fact?
The operations of the hospital for a couple of months really changed. I mean, there was a period where it was almost a ghost town during the COVID period because everybody was moved up to GRMC.
Yeah, so there's a significant.
So they had no income for a while.
Yeah,
and so they've probably since gotten some money from CARES, and that's how they managed to pay off Reverend Tax last week.
What about the contributions to the retirement fund? Are they on time with that?
They did that almost immediately. It was just on September the 30th, they had an outstanding, but within a couple of weeks in October, they were able to make the contribution to the retirement fund.
Now, I know I'm sure all the details are in the full-blown version of it that I haven't had a chance to look at. In this case, I will print it out. But I'm curious about their payroll habits. In past, Guam Memorial Hospital has not been able to cover all of the payroll, so they just cut net checks. Is that still a practice?
Not that I'm aware of at this point. I should hope not, because they've been told several times.
You're not supposed to do that, but every once in a while you hear that story. I know a couple of people in accounting. Maybe they'll give me some inside information. 9:31 in the morning. BJ Cruz, public auditor, on the line right now. You've got another big audit that you've been waiting to push out. Haven't been able to do it because of whatever COVID-19, and also one of the reasons why you're not going to be running for Congress.
Yes, it wasn't COVID that is preventing the release.
What was it? I forgot.
This year, I redid all of the contracts with the external auditors and gave them a March 31st deadline to issue all the audits. Of course, we were in COVID, but today the Guam audit is supposed to go out. But it's not going to be able to go out because we're still waiting for GORA. And as a major component unit of the government, I mean, as large as it is, it's going to have an impact on the bottom line of the government of Guam. And so the fact that it was not prepared, wasn't completed in time, is going to hold up the Guam audit for a couple of weeks.
Do you have any preliminary numbers? I mean, and this is going to be, it'll take a look at the last fiscal year?
Yeah, I'll give you the same answer that I gave one of the media that called me yesterday about preliminary numbers. Unless and until the audit is complete and finalized, I will and should not speculate.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you seen any recent CRERs?
Oh, God, yes. I saw the last one.
Can I? Because you know what, and I will readily admit that I can't read the bureaucratic ease and accounting ease that those things are compiled on. So I'm never sure what are the correct numbers. Daphne said she'd send me the last one that she's got in her computer and highlight what it is that I should be looking at. But I am curious as to what kind of numbers year over year, what we're seeing with withholding numbers and what we're seeing in business privilege tax numbers that are coming into the revenues of the government of Guam. How significantly down are they year over year?
The income in the corporate is down almost 35, a little over 30 for the year. They're hoping that this July 15th, when everybody pays their income tax because of the extension in April, they're hoping to make it up. I'm hoping they do because, you know, in the old days, I would go berserk if the deficit, I mean, the shortfall ratio was more than 2%. The last one was 8.5.
Ouch. What's your long-term position for the government of Guam? You care to make an estimate on what FY 2020 is going to look like?
You know, there's going to be a shortfall at the end of. I believe there will be a shortfall, in spite of all this government money coming in. Unfortunately, most of that money isn't being spent in our brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
And so the BPT is not going to go up, and it's not being spent in our restaurants for sure. And we're not getting the tourists to come in, and so the BPT from all their purchases is not going to be reported. It's all being spent in the base, and this last 2 weekends with Big Navy being a shelter. In spite of all those ships, rather than those. Wait a second. We just what is it? The Nimitz was in and through. Any other time, there would have been 5,000 men and women with backpacks lingering and all around Tumon, spending money in the bars, spending money in the restaurants, spending money over at Tattoo Shauna's place. But that didn't happen. All of that money stayed behind the gate. Yep.
That's yuck, Beach. So there's a fiscal conservative in you. What's that guy saying? What do you, so if you, somebody says, notwithstanding, what advice would you give to the folks over at the Department of Administration and BBMR? Because, my guess is that we're going to be standing in a deep hole, and the only way that they're going to get out of it is not going to be reorganization. It's not going to be furloughs. It's not going to be layoffs, even though if we did it now, we might be able to get some money out of the Fed to cover the short on those guys. I've got a feeling that we're in for a 6% business privilege tax.
I've gotten WhatsApp texts from from several members of the legislature, and I keep saying, I was not elected. The decision is yours now. I will audit what you do.
But you're my friend, and my friend would tell the governor what? Would they tell the governor, is it time to start tightening up the belt?
Offline, I will tell you, but online, I'm the public auditor and not your friend.
KKK. All right. Well, because I know what the answer is, and the answer is that we do actually have to start doing what they did in Hawaii. We actually have to start doing what they've done up in Saipan. There are going to be people that we're going to have to determine are non-essential, and while there is money with the PUAs and the FPUCs, we need to transition these from government of Guam employees that are currently drawing a paycheck, and let's have that money paid for by the federal government while we hold our breath and try to rebuild our economy. Otherwise, it's 6%.
Interesting.
I know. You owe me a beer. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Okay.
All right, Beach. That's Nino BJ, the public auditor for the island of Guam. A bunch of audits that have gone out, and none of them have happy endings. not one of them. The Tourist Attraction Fund has no happy ending there because there ain't no tourists to fund any of that stuff, and the hot bund that gets paid with those dollars. The thing at Guam Memorial Hospital, that's never going to get better, ever, ever, ever. And you know what they tell me the solution is going to be is we'll sacrifice Guam Memorial Hospital. We'll let it die and then buy GRMC. Have you heard that one? I'm going, wait a second. Smaller. we need beds. The answer is not that one hospital survives. The answer is we need the beds here on Guam. Notwithstanding coronavirus. That's has always been the problem, is we just don't have enough beds. You remember the story before coronavirus, right? How many people were, you go to the emergency room at GMH, and you might have to stay in the emergency room because we don't know when we're going to have another bed available. And depending on how sick you were and what you needed, we might not have those resources available. So we stick you in the emergency room where we can keep you and keep an eye on you, and everything's going to be okay. I don't know that situation has changed all that much since it was as bad as it was in January, February of this year. And then, like I said, you get the highway fund, and you look at that and go, really? The $5 million for the mayor's council? What do they need? They need that. Why do we have a mayor's council? Why is that? Can't we just get together once every couple of months? Do we need to have an executive director? What is it that they do in there? Why does it feel like the fourth branch of government? That ought to be among the questions that we ask when we realize that the caca has hit the fan. And the only way out from under it is to increase the business privilege tax. And here's the scary thing, is we've been through this before. And the people, unfortunately, will roll right over. Right over. I guess it's going to cost more. Really? You're okay with that? How come there's not more screaming and belly aching when they start talking about taking money out of your pockets? Why aren't there more people that will scream, get your hands out of my pockets? Government of Guam knows it's in a bind. Everybody knows it's in a bind. You get the handwriting is on the wall, and it's in BJ's handwriting. We're headed down a path, and despite the availability of CARES dollars, which I think is only the only thing that people can see, we must be okay. We still have checks in the checkbook, and we've got this CARES money coming. So, they're talking about another CARES package, right? Another one of these packages coming out of Washington, D.C. But so far, that's all we're getting. It's just talk. What are you going to do if even that talk vanishes. I have some ideas. I'll share them with you in a minute. 9:41 is iConnect time. Go to an iConnect. There's one. Where's it at? Next door is iConnect. Better yet, use the phone. Save yourself some gas so you can go in line for the COVID test. And I'm still getting images. People still sending me pictures of cars stuck in traffic. Now, how do I know that's today, stuck in traffic? That might be the line to pay over at GWA. That might be the line for free food from Teetson a couple of weeks ago. How do I know that's the COVID-19 test for today? I'll take a look at them while these commercials play. It's 9:42, and that's iConnect time.
When you can do what you need to do from wherever you are, why wouldn't you? The Going Online Together partners encourage you to explore all the ways you can safely, securely, and conveniently go digital. Pay bills, check account balances, register for services, and much more. And don't worry, when you practice safe online activity, you can trust that your personal information is secure. Be part of the new norm, make life easier, and join in the movement of going online together.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont, or call 646-1463.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Count of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Count from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
That's a nice picture. Mark Cruz sent me a nice picture of an airplane. And the good news, it's one of ours. It's one of ours. You ever look up in the sky and see a plane and go, huh, it's not Chinese, is it? It's not Ruskies. Okay. Because you figure they'd probably have to battle a network of fighters to get anything close enough to threaten us here on Guam. But that one there, you know what kind of plane that is, Real Joe?
It's a mail plane. Right?
It's black.
Oh.
Dark color airplane.
It's probably a B-52. It looks like a B-52.
No. B-52's got bigger longer
wingspan?
arms. Yeah, bigger wingspan. I think that's a C-130. I think that's the troop carrier. The thing that. Okay, so everybody that has got the video of the guys.
C-130.
Whatever. You're just making stuff up. Yeah, it's an AR-15. But if you've got the video of the airplane and the parachute guys coming out, and I was right. I thought it looked low, and somebody said, combat egress is like 800 feet. So 800 feet off the deck, and you jump out in the plane, and the second you jump out in the plane, it opens up the parachute. Otherwise, you die on the way down, because 800 feet is still enough to kill you.
Okay, it's
right?
a C-17.
Who said?
My friend Lee Weber.
Okay.
Lee Weber just texted me.
Right.
It's a C-17.
Nice. Thanks. I appreciate that. 9:45 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Bob Klitsky, and he may riff on this. He may riff on this. Mayors are for villages. We don't need no stinking quasi-parliamentary council out there with the mayors. And you're going to say, but Raymond, the mayors are going to oversee the cleanup of the junk cars that we've got on the roads. You're rolling your eyes already, aren't you? Why is that a job for the mayor's council and the mayors? Do we not have a functioning environmental protection authority? Do we not have a functioning? Because there's a who wrote this? Heidi wrote it from over at Haiti wrote it over at the Daily Post, and there's a picture of an abandoned Mitsubishi Outlander tucked away along a secluded area along Price Elementary School in Manila. I only have the black and white version of the car. Okay, you know who's responsible for this car? Not me. Yeah. Not Joe. Not any taxpayer that you know. The person responsible for this automobile is the guy whose name matches the VIN number on this car.
Last known owner? Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Right? The last known registered owner of this automobile is responsible for it and needs to remove it from the roadway. Now, it's going to be they're going to make the phone call, and the guy's going to say, yeah, I sold that car like 4 years ago. Well, did you do the paperwork, or did you just, here's the keys? You have to do the paperwork. Otherwise, Rev and Tax thinks that car is yours. And now it is a public nuisance and needs to be removed. So I'm sorry you didn't follow the paperwork and the prescribed rules. Sucks to be you. Give me $1,000 for the removal. It only takes a few of those to get the word out. So this is what has happened over the years. We have now been trained by the people of Guam. We have been trained to expect that our mess will be cleaned up by the government of Guam. You got a car that didn't drive anymore? Your project vehicle? No, dude, I'm going to fix that up, dude. I got that. That's a version of a car that I used to drive when I was in high school, and so I bought it from a guy for $75. No, I'm going to fix that, man. No, you're not. You're never going to fix it. Or, a car just went bad on you. You bought a new car. You kept the old one. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to wait until they have a cleanup, and I'm going to have the government take it away for me. I don't need to worry about getting this taken to someplace and recycling and doing whatever. The government will come and get it for me. How did we get so lucky? How did we get so lucky? And so now it's not just the government getting it. Now it's the mayors that get to do it. So we're going to give them something to do. Make you earn that $85,000. You get out there. I got my mayor hat on, and I got my mayor truck with my sounds.
Your mayor boys.
Got my mayor's boys. Got the boys. Right? What are we doing today, Chief? Today we're going to go and get junk cars. That's what we're going to do. That's what's happened over the years, and that's why you look at the numbers that are flowing to the mayor's offices, and you're going, wow, what's up with that? That's why. And you might also be going, Ray, if you've got any political desires whatsoever, maybe you shouldn't be going after the mayors, because it's the mayors now that almost your relationship with the mayors of Guam is what will propel you into the top 10 of whatever it is that you're running for. First of all, I ain't going to be running this time, because the paperwork sucks. And you're going to go, Ray, you're just lazy. I'm going to go, yeah, I am. Admit it. I admit it. I'm not running because they want me to go pay money and stand in line to get a police clearance and a court clearance. If you want to know that much about me, you go stand in line and get my police clearance and court clearance. The financial paperwork is way more work than I wanted to do. As far as I'm concerned, here's a copy of last year's tax return, and that's all you get. But, Raymond, how do we know that you're not corrupt? How do we know that you're not taking money from lobbyists that they're giving you extra money? Oh, like I said, if you want to conduct an investigation, you conduct the investigation. Here's what I've got from the last couple of years, and that's all you get to know. Too much paperwork. And this is something, Jim and I were talking about this last night. This is one of those things, change the world concepts, that is not going to be that tricky to do. Running for political office on Guam should be no harder, how do I want to say this, than getting a driver's license. It should be all you should do is go someplace and say, I want to run for senator. Where do I put my name? You scratch out your name, you put a couple of other things in there, maybe an affidavit that, yeah, I'm not a crook, no live boys, little girls, whatever, just dead girls. None of that stuff, none of the 19th floor hysteria. And then you can run. Your name will show up on the list. But we've thrown so much at potential candidates out there that is just beyond ridiculous now. And I'm sure that there's all kinds of people that would have otherwise love the trick, but ain't going to do it because there's too much trouble, like me. And so there, 9:50 in the morning, I have 2 marks.
Yes, sir.
Do I take them in alphabetical order or the order they called in?
Line 1 called first.
Yeah, going to Mark 1. You are Mark 1, go.
Hey, Ray, you hit a hot button with me on the mayors.
Right?
I'm speechless when I think about this.
Wait, what village are you? What village are you claiming? Mark, what village are you claiming? Because
one up north.
It's
one up north.
But your guy's not running for re-election, is he?
No, because he's retiring.
Yeah, by public demand.
Now, here's what just blows me away. First off, when you say the mayors make $85,000, no, they make over $100,000 when you start cranking in their benefits and retirement funds.
Yep.
So it's $100,000. It's six figures. So what I cannot wrap my head around, and I have tried for years, why the mayor of the largest village on Guam makes the same salary as the mayor of the smallest village on Guam. I cannot wrap my head around
Actually, you got that backwards. Why would the mayor of the smallest village on Guam make as much as the mayor of the largest village?
Either way.
Yeah, they should be. Let's scale it. Let's scale it here. And you've got this many people live in your village, then your mayoral job is $50,000 a year. If you got 150,000 people in your village, all right, I can see where. But on the other hand, maybe we don't need 19 village mayors, and we don't need the vice mayors. Maybe we just and people have the conversation, but the gutless legislature will never turn in legislation that does anything to harm their valuable relationship with the village mayors, because they believe that the village mayors hold the keys to re-election, and it's just not true, guys.
Here's how I would do the mayor's salary.
Yeah.
Base salary of $32,500. That's a starting school teacher. You get $1 for every resident in your village.
Mm-hmm.
And you add that. So if you've got 8,000, you make 40,000. If you only have 5 people in there, you only get $5 on top of your 32.5.
I like it. I like it. Well, we'll work on that when you become senator, Mark. I got to run. Get the other Mark on the line.
Okay.
All right. You have a fantastic day. And DT online Facebook Live is now officially the funniest person of the day. She says it's a C-17, and if that means there's 17 COVID positive patients potential patients on board that C-17. That's why they give it that number, COVID-17. Getting it? All right, good job, DT. You can keep coming back to the program. Mark Cruz on the line. FLA.
Hey, so that's a C-17 Globemaster 3 flying over. GIAA, they were doing flyovers and touch and goes when I was dropping the wife this morning.
Nice.
And one little trivial factor is my middle boy, his classmate, one of his best friends in high school, his name is Zen Kalalung. He's a pilot a command pilot for a C-17, but he flies out of his base is out of the Northeast.
Nice.
So I keep telling him he's got to, get transferred over to the western part of the United States, so when they deploy, he can come here.
So what do we use the C-17 for besides throwing 19-year-olds out the back end of the airplane?
Oh no, they're cargo planes. They can carry. I think they can carry one tank or a bunch of armored personnel carriers. I mean, they basically are the. They're the bigger workhorse. They were the replacement for the C-141 Starlifter.
I got you.
The medium, the medium duty. But you've got to go on YouTube and look for C-17 short takeoff and landings, because they can come down, land, and hit that reverse thrust and stop in like 800 feet.
Wow. That's awesome. Now I've got Phil sent me Phil from over at Venue sent me a picture of one of these things on the ground, and in front of them for scale are a couple of vans, a couple of personnel vans that they use in the movies, and you can see the size of the plane relative to the van, and the idea of putting more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of these vans in the back of this airplane doesn't seem so far-fetched. So next time we got to be moving all kinds of stuff from point A to point B. I think that's going to be my ride of choice.
Yeah, and actually, when my dad got in his accident, he had to be medevaced out from Naval Hospital. This was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Over to Tripler in Honolulu. That's what he flew on. He said it was really comfortable.
Well, it sounded like you could back the ambulance into the back of this thing, and you just ride in the ambulance in the back of one of these C-17s. Just awesome stuff, and I'm delighted that they're doing the exercise over there. But I don't know to what degree, unfortunately, the men and women that are part of this exercise are going to be able to enjoy Guam with the bans on bars and the bans on dine-in facilities.
Yep, definitely.
That sucks.
You know, it's too bad that they can't enjoy Guam the way they normally would. But hopefully they'll be back next year and all those restrictions will be gone.
I got my fingers crossed that that things are going to work out that way. But you never know. We might somebody else might, another 5 or 6 people might come up with a booger and they'll shut the island down again. I know it.
All right, man.
I see you. You know I will. There's my other mark on line 957, and let me just fit these last commercials in, and we'll finish up the rest of the show. Hey, sige Nadja, where's the commercial? Throw it.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Why are there police cars zooming around the building? I've been listening. The last hour, I've heard a lot of police car activity.
I have no idea what's going on out there.
Where's Mana?
She wasn't wearing her mask outside.
What? No mask, straight to jail. Straight to jail. I'm amused. I'm seeing posts from people that are getting more and more agitated by people that don't wear masks. And they're going, it's politics. You're just so rude. You should wear a mask. This is not the time for partying and having a good time. It's the time for wearing a mask and being careful. And I'm like, shut up. Leave me alone. I'm not bothering you. I'm far, far away from you. You need to look at me like I'm some kind of pariah because I'm not wearing a mask. And everybody says, well, people are politicizing the wearing of masks. 9:58, and I will tell you what, I am not politicizing the wearing of masks. I don't feel like wearing a mask. If I'm the only one inside of a building and there's nobody around for 20 feet, why do I have to wear the mask?
You heard that new slogan, mask it or casket?
Yeah, this is just another stupid line. It's another stupid line. We've got to get to a point where we recognize that there are going to be people like me and people like you. And I will do what I want to do, and you can do what you want to do, but don't try to shame me into doing what it is that you want me to do. You're just going to have to live with the fact that there are people around you that are independent of thought, and I try to be one of those. I see Jack Larimer's online. Jack, ran into a girl named Tossie over at Chili's yesterday while I was enjoying their new crispy ribs. You should try them. And we were talking about places where she liked to go and get a drink, and she said, well, before the corona, I would like to go wherever it was that Jack Larimer was singing. And I said, I know exactly who you're talking about, and I understand why. So Jack, you got at least one fan out there, and somebody wants to hear you sing in a lounge one day real soon. 10 o'clock in the morning, and I got to go. I got to get out of here. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm not wearing a mask. I'll just tell you that right now. So if you're one of those people that's just twitching, are you triggered? Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow without my mask. Where KUSG gotten you. This is the point.
They want to know more. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Members of Congress hearing from the administration over reports of bounties placed on American soldiers' heads by Russia.
Several House Republicans, including top members on the House Armed Services and Foreign Affairs committees, met with White House officials on reports Russia offered bounties to Taliban fighters for the deaths of American soldiers in Afghanistan. The White House press secretary told reporters President Trump was not briefed about the intelligence because there was no consensus on it and it was not verified. An aide to House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer says the White House did reach out about bringing in Democrats for a briefing, and one is scheduled for Tuesday morning, but Hoyer adds it is not a substitute for an all-House briefing.